Let's go, Brandon. I agree. Time is up and everything is working. Welcome. My name is Ike. This is TAGN, the Angry Game News. And I'm going to be a little bit angry at Ubisoft more and more. Not because I just want to be angry, but because I actually liked Ubisoft back in the days a lot, but they keep on fucking failing and messing everything up. So that's gonna be our main topic today. See what happened last week with Ubisoft and their stock price and all that. Oh, ouch, oh, haste. Time's up, mofos. No, time's not up. Just a countdown. You should be in the chat now. I give everybody time to gather in the chat. Without bots. Without fucking bots. For some reason, I don't have like 20, 50 viewers supposedly waiting before my stream starts. That's why I give people a little bit time when they get notifications. So yeah, that's going to be our main story about Ubisoft. We're going to check out what happened last week with them. That's what you see on the display right now is Yves Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft. He is French, so he's gay by default. Before we come to that, let's just take a look on all kinds of other news stories in the realm of gaming, which I mainly talk about. Ubisoft during PS2, GameCube, Xbox was peak. Yeah, you're not super wrong on that. I guess, what was the last? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like all Far Cry's. And I'm going to play Far Cry through Far Cry 5, which is just story-wise my favorite one, on this Thursday, Friday, 24-hour stream. Down below in the video description, by the way, a little tiny description about that event. So, yes, I guess it was peak GameCube, Xbox, PS2 era, but I would say like the only franchise that was still good overall until Far Cry, what was it, New Dawn or something like that, with the twin sisters, black twin sisters, kind of in the same world, I think it was. I never played that one. Never played 6. Up to 5 was great. Far Cry 2 had dumb AI. Well, Far Cry 2 had the Dunya engine first in place, and it was kind of a pain in the ass repairing your guns all the time and your car. But I think that has had a big impact in the gameplay. Rainbow Six Vegas 1 also had the dumb AI. Never played that. I played the original Rainbow Six Siege, or I think only Rainbow Six, like the 1999 one or something like that. Old Rainbow Six. Ahoy, El Masquerada. Former Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser joins Hasbro board weeks after retirement. Now, I thought that was an interesting news because first, he just leaving and joining right away Hasbro. So that deal must have been made way before he just retired, right? Otherwise, he would have stayed probably at Nintendo. Maybe, just maybe, he gets way more money at Hasbro. Maybe Hasbro just has a lot of money and is doing better than Nintendo, actually. I might remind everybody, last year, Hasbro has released under their Wizard of the Coast, like sub-brand there, the card holders of the Magic cards. And they released first time Final Fantasy stuff. And on the first day, they sold for $200 million right away. Only Final Fantasy cards. And since then, they are doing like amazing numbers all the time, having new partnerships with all kinds of brands and IPs, releasing cards, and they had to ramp up the card production quite intensely. And the Wizard of the Coast is a brand owned by Hasbro. So I guess Hasbro just makes more money. So that is probably one reason why he left Nintendo. And he might have seen that Nintendo might not do well forever in that sense. Like Switch 2 was released, record-breaking, whatever. But in the holiday seasons, the Switch 2 didn't sold like predicted. Like, why didn't keep it up selling in those amounts like on release date? Yeah. So I think that has an impact. And that is not going super well for Nintendo. Maybe might the signal be the new CEO, I forgot her name. She was talking about people have to stick together. Just stay with Nintendo for a while. Just keep attention. Don't worry. Like really weird messages, really weird messages. As if Nintendo fanboys, Nintenfags like El Mascarado, would ever turn their back on Nintendo in the first place. So I don't know what's wrong with her and why she needed to tell people to stick with Nintendo for whatever reason. Huh? That was another sign that Nintendo might be in the bad position. Got that right. Yeah. And Nintendo can't do wrong with people like El Mascarado. He will just stick to them no matter what. So you don't need to tell those fanboys. Last year, Doug Bowser, one of the most ironically named people of all time, announced his impending retirement from Nintendo. Initially taking the role in April of 2019, he serves as the chief operating officer of President of Nintendo of America. For nearly 7 years. However, despite leaving his position just a few weeks ago on December 31st, Bowser has already found a new gig serving on the board of Hasbro. So I just found that interesting that he is moving to Hasbro of all places. So they must pay him much better, or Nintendo had enough of him. It could also be, and they made a deal in the first place. Not sure. But it is just interesting that he is moving to Hasbro. Hasbro might do all kinds of movies sooner or later, too. We're going to see about that. Love the Graw on PC. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. Never played that. Either the missiles in Graw with the AGEA physics card have trajectory and explosion velocity. Which NVIDIA could do very easily with fucking some cores, some CUDA cores on their cards, just emulating that stuff very easily. It just needs the right software to be programmed, but NVIDIA has no intention to fixing that on the new cards because no new chip, physics chips. Got that right. Nintendo is going to be the last console remaining. I don't think so. I don't think so. Could be. We're gonna have to wait at least 5 years for Nintendo to announce anything new in the first place. But yes, we want to honor the Halo legacy on PlayStation. Xbox on Halo's PS5 remake. It's still taking some getting used to, but Xbox is now a huge publisher on PlayStation, and it's bringing one of its most beloved series to Sony's platform for the first time ever this year. Halo Campaign Evolved. The first Halo was called Combat Evolved, just as a little remnants there. Remembrance. It's a remake of the original first-person shooter, albeit stripped of its competitive multiplayer. Good move there, I guess. The one thing that made it actually like really fun, it was mega fun in Halo 2, like the multiplayer part online, which pushed Xbox Live like to new heights. But yes, get rid of the multiplayer part. Good idea. Announced last year, the Unreal Engine 5 powered game is a notable one for PS5 players who may be getting their very first taste of the sci-fi universe and playing as the iconic Master Chief. It seems the importance of the game is not lost on the developers. Creative director Max Zalgor and executive producer Damon Kahn comment on the game making the leap to PS5 in a recent feature by Games Radar. We hope to bring along the series veterans who have been with us for the past 25 years and have them play with an entirely new generation, Khan says, referring to campaign evolved's 4-player online co-op and cross-play support. I mean, that's kind of a multiplayer part, just not against each other, also more like together. Could be fun, I assume, but on the other hand I marked that part because is it gonna be probably online only, like a single campaign game still in for the most part, but you need to be online all the time and you need to log in with your account? Is it gonna be something like that? I guess we have to wait and see. It just doesn't feel right to me already that they have to mention that part already. There are people who have never been exposed to Halo, he continues. Maybe they have always been on Sony products, switched consoles at a certain point, or just missed it at a time. We want to bring players back together. Slugor says Halo is best played when we have a large, healthy community and views the game as a way to grow, expand, and reconnect the Halo community. I think they lost every plot for Halo, like with the Infinity Saga, like it's called. I don't know why really, because it was going nowhere. The story was lame, gameplay was okay. Cinematics like super lame and all that. Story, like I said, nothing there. So what community are you thinking about? Peak Halo was, for me personally, Halo 3. Everything after that, 4 was very okay. I had nothing against 4. 5 already started to feel like, what are you trying to tell me in this story? Like, the new Spartans are the better ones, but they still depend on a Master Chief and all that nonsense, and going back and forth and meeting together. And they tried too much, maybe, just in general. Nintendo is going to be last console. I'm mentally ill with Pokemon games too. I mean, everybody has hobbies, right? El Mascarado. If they aren't doing multiplayer, then release the Master Chief Collection on PlayStation and Switch. They might do that later on just to make more money, but they probably need to transfer, at least for the Switch, they need to transfer quite a lot of data, port it to the new system, to the ARM architecture. It's going to be a little bit more problematic, especially 4 and upwards. Probably not going to work extremely well, like just play-wise, like smoothly 60 FPS and all that, you know. But you could release the Master Chief Collection on PS5, even probably on PS4, because the Master Chief Collection you already got on the Xbox One, which was before PS4, really. So you could do a release there also. But yeah, it would need adjustment, and maybe they don't have the money to port it. PTSD, Pokemon Traumatic Stress Disorder. Stress disorder? What the fuck is the stress disorder? And especially with Pokemon. It's missing the multiplayer component, which removes a vast chunk of replayability. I'm not on the one, but in today's time, it just seems weird that you don't have multiplayer. On the one, the multiplayer part was actually only like Ethernet, meaning LAN, meaning just local area networking, right? But yes, if you get rid of the multiplayer, I mean, the co-op multiplayer 4-player single campaign could be a good way to do it. I'm not sure. Post-Pokemon depression. Halo 2 was a peak for me. It still looks great on Xbox with a CRT. I never played 3. I mean, 3 is peak, really, for Halo. Halo CE was released on PC back in 2003 with online multiplayer. Well, was it released in Europe? and other parts of the world. I'm not so sure. Halo Combat Evolved. Because I don't remember ever seeing it in a shop, like the physical game box for PC. No. Windows. Multiplayer, blah, blah, blah. PC, sure. Where do we have to release stuff? I don't see it right away. 2003 and downloadable in 360 support, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I just don't remember ever seeing it at any shop here around, so I don't think it was really big for PC players, at least not globally. Where was I? Yeah, and he is talking about the community. So how much of the real community is still there, though? That was my question. We want to honor the Halo legacy on PlayStation, and we are paving the way to expand our Halo universe. That's how we see it, Con says. And it's not a small thing. We don't want, and we won't take it lightly. We definitely feel the weight of it. Campaign Evolved is a full remake of the original, but it modernizes. Yeah, that's always good. Modernizes. The word is like not very well received in many people's eyes and ears. You know, when you talk about modern audiences and modernize, what do you really mean? Certain aspects and will even include some wholly original content, with a series of brand new missions that take place before the main story. I love the story, you know, up to 4. I loved the whole story. And it was always nice, and it's always gonna stay nice when you don't know every fucking detail or too much of a story. So that's why prequels are not always super well done, and they don't do always super well either. So I think the start, like for the game in Combat Evolved, was perfect. Like you just knew, yeah, you were the super soldier, Master Chief, you get just in combat. The fucking aliens are invading your carrier in space, and you have to fight. Very, very simple, you know? And the gameplay was original in that sense, something new, it felt new and all that. So why you need more prequel stuff? I'm just questioning that decision. There's no date in place yet, but it's planned to release in 2026. Yeah, I'm not gonna wait for it. I just found it interesting to mention that they are trying to honor the legacy of Halo. And how can you honor something more than with Unreal Engine 5? It's got to be just Unreal Engine 5 slop all over the next 5 years, like crazy. I think I only ever played the first 2. I cock 2 gay robots attack and don't. I mean, how much damage would a gay robot do to us? Maybe a lot to Archmajunk. Not sure that's a real word. Gay robots? I mean, they are they are binary, right? They can be gay. Zeros and zeros, 1 and 1s, you know? They are wheeling me all over the place. Manu tests. I will be in nuclear medicine soon in some weird machine. Yeah, but you're only there to shave your balls. That's what we know so far. Okay, I stand corrected. I wonder if they'll pull Doctor Who and make the previous chief a black lesbian. They would retcon the whole story if they would do that. I never have managed to read through the first 3 books. I bought the first 6 books, the official books, where you learn about how they are being picked by this doctor lady, which you see in the game too, in the games too. And she picks like the boys at very young age and to genetically modify them and to train them and all that. So you see about what happens prior to that. And that's like her first task, to make those super soldiers. And as far as I remember, in the books, it was never been talked about aliens and all that. That really is like starting with the games itself. Like they are being attacked by aliens and all that. So they would retcon like the core story with that. But who knows? Who knows? They could do that, I guess. They could do that. Well, that's what I only played the first two Halos 2. Well, you missed. You should play 3. You should play 4. 4 is not as good as 3, but still good. With 5, it started to get ridiculous. And Infinity, whatever. But yeah, there's that. It will come this year at some time. Non-binary. Non-binary. I'm interested in Halo Remake, but will not support Microsoft. Well, either you're interested or not. There's no way around to not support them. Maybe you can just download the game on certain websites later. But yeah, who knows? Let's talk about Marathon a little bit, because that's going to be the big next thing for Bungie and Sony too. So it's so tiresome, but they keep on coming with stupid news. What can I say? I look out for good news. There are unfortunately not a lot reported. Yeah, that's the downside. Marathon might be part of a dying breed of game, former art director says. Not really, no. Sony did a bad deal with Bungie, buying it for almost $3 billion, and that money is never coming back, I think. Yeah. Bungie's upcoming anticipated extraction shooter, Marathon, is scheduled to arrive in early March, and is, as of this writing, one of the highest selling games over on Steam. Yeah, you can now pre-purchase the game for $40. The price we knew now for about a month or so. And the release date is the same, about a month. And yeah, highest selling games over on Steam. We're gonna come to that in a second. I want just to point out like how stupid those things are phrased. I think Lan Pitts, the writer of this article at GameSpot, might have gotten some goodies or some monetary incentives by Sony to talk like that. Even with the alleged stolen art controversy, it is not alleged. It is absolutely 1,000,000,000% confirmed by Bungie themselves. They needed to change the whole trailer. They needed to change all kinds of arts. They made even like a fucking out of court like deal, like everything is now all right with the artist. It is not alleged. Otherwise, they wouldn't come to fucking a conclusion and making a deal with the original artist that had no connection with Bungie in the first place. So shut your mouth, Lan Pitts alleged. It's looking like Marathon could be the winner that Bungie needs it to be after Concord failed to take off. Well, that you connect those two together, it's a bad sign too. And yeah, it wouldn't need to be a real hit, but they know it's not going to be a real hit. They absolutely know. Otherwise, you wouldn't price it for only $40 and do all kinds of changes and listen to the community. Maybe a little bit too late. Gameplay-wise, it doesn't look fun either, so whatever. According to former art director Joseph Cross, that level of commitment to an unproven IP might be a thing of the past soon. Unproven IP. So extraction shooters are not unproven. Unfortunately, the gay-ass Arc Raider's doing very fucking well. Escape from Tarkov is doing very fucking well overall, despite having a rough launch, but they fixed a lot of stuff after that. but those are like the main right now played extraction shooter. So it's not an unproven fucking concept in gameplay wise. And IP wise, Marathon, you had the original released. I mean, albeit almost 30 fucking years ago and all that, but still, it is not unproven. So shut your mouth once more, land pits. What a stupid ass dude, man. Crazy. Crazy is also haste. He wants to get higher in the, or have better chances in the Wheel of Fortune. He gifted 5 subscription to all of you guys. I mean, the money goes to me, luckily. Thank you very much. Let me note that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, Rumble has broken the API. That's what it is. So much dollars for me by haste. Thank you very much indeed. Sail the high seas. Shut your pie hole. It could be an R graders. No, it can't be. It will not be. Trust me. Trust me, bro. And trust me, bro, I give you a little like hints that it's not going to be that amazing. Especially when Land Pit says it's one of the highest selling games over in Steam. And he luckily, or her, or they, them, I don't fucking know. Let's just take a look. Maybe that might be a good idea. Come on, you can load. Land Pit stuff. Well, you don't have at least anything here. You don't link your X or Bluesky. I'm calling it Bluesky because that sounds better than Blue Sky. Blue Sky, it sounds too nice. So might be gay. At least gay. But yes, you can go over to the Steam 100 top selling games. I'm going to refresh it right now. And we're going to search for Marathon like I did already. Oh, shit. Wait a second. Come on. What are you loading now? Did I click something? Oh, I clicked something. Let me reload again. Because I'm going to tell you where I saw it like today, early today. I'm just going to scroll down. And it was placed on 97. Like best-selling games. One of the highest-selling games on Steam. I'm going to search again. Marathon. And it's not in the list anymore. It's not in the list, the 100 highest-selling games anymore. It was probably up to like the US week, last week, to count it this way. In my time zone, it was still today. Around, I watched around 12 on noon. It was still there, so yeah, highest selling my ass. Land Pits. It got dropped. Team Fortress 2, a almost 25-year-old game. At least 20. I'm not sure about 25. But at least 20-year-old games is selling better in that sense. Fallout New Vegas, 15 plus years old. Fallout New Vegas is still selling better weekly than your highest selling games there. So you're full of it, Land Pits. Cocteau, of course, got it. The Gifted. Arch My Junk got it. Oi Godzilla, Oi Bimo. It is ballers. Big money's here. He's spending all his hard-earned pharmacy money. Big shaved balls, people like. Please correct your stupid ball. No. I mean, you're not the big balls people. He is. Unfortunately, the Rumble API is shit. Despite not being working well at all, it's still shit. It can't differentiate from normal subscribers to gifted. Otherwise, I would make a different message there. I would call you small ball people, Cocteau. I thought you were saying lamp tits. Lamp tits? What the fuck, lamp tits? I got immediately banned from Blue Sky by saying that Latin is offensive. I got to banned immediately by just stating there are only two genders. I was immediately. And I said it like to nobody directly. It was just a post out to the world. They couldn't handle it. It is pretty crazy on Blue Sky. On Blue Ski. Oh, Supersonic. Supersonic should get it too. Why don't I see Supersonic getting it? The gifted, I mean. Anyhow. But yes, that is just live proof. I'm providing you evidence live here. Unfortunately, I should have shown it to you because before I reloaded the page, it was there. It was on place 97. 1 week. It got 1 week into the top 100 selling games. Big deal there, Bungie. This game is going to be ass. Nobody's going to fund it. Nobody's really going to buy it. It's going to be a disaster for Sony and Bungie. They need something else, something big, something good. How about that? Something more original, or if it's not going to be original, at least fun. Because Marathon, gameplay-wise, with the androids, doesn't look fun. Very easily. My balls are shaved. Yeah, we had that topic yesterday. Nobody cares about your shaved balls, just saying. I mean, maybe, like I said, Dear Sarge wants to see it, but even that is doubtful. And we got then a little additional news about Marathon. Marathon will have a free test for everyone before launch. If you're curious about Bungie's new shooter Marathon and worried about plunking down $40, Bungie has some welcome news. There will be an open preview weekend for the game ahead of launch. And maybe you can convince people, maybe it is actually really fun. Maybe you can get some players away from Arc Raiders or Escape from Tarkov, you know, with that free weekend. That is a good move. That is a good move. It is another good sign, though, that you need something like that. Just saying. Just saying. I love the old Marathon games on Macintosh. I never played it because I owned MacBooks, but that was in the early 10s of this year century. Just a regular MacBook, not the Pro, like the very wide one, the plastic one, which I, for the first time in my life, actually mined on that with the, I think it had a GT 310 GPU, and it was Intel. And I was able to mine Bitcoin with that. Pretty powerful machine for that time. Other than that, I had never owned a Macintosh, so never played those games on Mac. You've been silenced? It doesn't answer, yes. I'm not gonna allow him to answer people. He's my bitch. He's gonna be silent. The keyword is Bungie, is Bunge. Super was gifted. Remember, the original Marathon trilogy is free on Steam. Yeah, the problem is with those very old 3D shooter games. I'm not very fond of those. I never liked the original Doom. I never liked the very original Wolfenstein and those games. The only one I liked was, I forget the name every time. I think it was called Excalibur on the PS1 because I had a demo disc that had one level of Excalibur. it was like fighting in ancient Egypt, at least that level was, like Anubis and all that. That would look just fun. Other than that, I hate those kind of flat 2D in 3D, 2D sprites in 3D worlds. Power Slave. But Mongolia. MrsSarge lurking while on kitchen bitch duty. Would it hurt to not feed him for one day, MrsSarge? Would it hurt him? Probably not. You would force him to eat just one can of sardines. I think it would not hurt him. I love 2D, 3D boomer shooters. They're just like low fidelity visually. I need a little bit something on those shooter 3D games. But yes, if you want the marathon, I guess go get it on Steam for free. He did just get the elliptical, so a reward. How long was he on? 3 minutes? 5? This is kind of a fun story, not really amazing in that sense or practical in any regard. But it's just fun to see that modders really try hard to exploit all game mechanics they can. New Witcher 3 online mod lets you hang together with friends. As spotted by Polygon, Witcher Online is a new free mod for the PC version of The Witcher 3 that adds online multiplayer for up to 5 players. The mod launched earlier this month and is available now on Nexus Mods and was created by user Rejuvenate. And we're just gonna skip a little bit through the footage here. I guess we have to go to YouTube. Oh, you don't give me the link, you little bastard. While the mod does sync all characters, animations, equipment, and combat across multiple players, you won't be able to help other players fight monsters or complete quests. So the mod creator recommends you quest together and all try to complete objectives at the same time as each other throughout the storyline. So I wish this, well, maybe I need to refresh the page to be able to load this one video. One thing stuck out in this video. Let's Witcher Online. Hopefully we get this one video. Yeah, it must be this one. So the first thing is, you don't have a lot of characters to select or to create in that sense, because Geralt is just Geralt. I mean, beard or different hairstyle and different armor, but besides that, you can change a lot there, you know. IFP. Rule of 34. Them all. And they do a lot of pissing. For some reason, that's a feature in this online player that everybody has to piss together. Matt Damon. I mean, it's kind of fun if you just can hang out with your buddies, but if you can't do the quest together, what's the point really? You can puke and you can piss even more. Let's piss together. Piss with me, brothers. I guess Yennefer is also selectable and all that. It's just like a proof of concept to a certain degree, I would say, that modders try everything to exploit every loophole, every backdoor possibility of a game, and fill it with mods to give you a new experience of this very game for the mod. I would love if the mod would made it able to play really together, meaning somebody is the leader and gets the quest, and you go quest together, and you can kill the monsters together, and maybe the monsters scale with difficulty depending on how many people are in the party. But it's interesting to see that this game is now also 10 plus years old, and they still keep it alive. Visually, it still looks great. I mean, they updated it quite a few times, actually, but it still looks amazing, and great music and all that. They should have done an online mode a long time ago. But yeah, interesting nonetheless. It's like going to a baseball game, puking and pissing. Well, the Chinese border patrol in San Francisco didn't let me in, so I never going to be able to witness a baseball game in the US and how much puking and pissing is going on in the games. I think he made it 10 this time. 10 minutes? Was he moving forward or backwards, MrsSarge? Jennifer got some choices now. I mean, it's this Geralt. It's all Geralt, so she might do a foursome. Just saying. A little bit sad news for Aussies. 20-year-old Australian Indie Games Festival of free play at risk as government funding dries up. Well, if you're going to be dependent only on government, something is wrong with your gaming culture. People seem not to be interested in Australia about gaming then. Free Play, an independent game festival running in Australia since 2004, is likely looking at its last year of operation for the foreseeable future, after failing to secure government funding. Well, if you are so dependent on government funding, it's not much independent, is it? I mean, it's not like the government is demanding you to be there. Sure, that's the independent part. But if you are so dependent on only government funding, which is people's money, keep that always in your mind, no matter what government tells you otherwise. All the government funding is people funding in the first place. In an online statement, as reported by Game Developer, the festival's organizers admit that though community organizations like Free Play typically survive off the blood, sweat, and tears of volunteers, supported by piecemeal funding opportunities, and the work of running free play events has always been a labor of love, often without adequate compensation. Failure to secure funding from Creative Victoria's Creative Enterprises Fund has left it without ongoing funding to support its activities. Games are vital to the creative and cultural fabric of Australia, and Free Play has been an unwavering champion of the freakier side of games for 20 years. A home for experimental, the weird, the heartfelt. We would love to continue for 20 more. Unfortunately, this is feeling increasingly impossible without the support of governments who believe in the art of game making. Now, when you put in words like freak and weird, I have like pictures in my mind. I don't know how it is for you guys in the chat. Tell me. Backward, of course it does backward. But when I hear those words and in gaming, I see always blue-haired freaks with nose rings, like in my head. So maybe because you are so dependent on government funding and the government just didn't have enough money to fund that stupidity, maybe you were always like a freak show in the first place and didn't have really like value in your event there in the first place, like for the broader normal gaming community. So telling us it's art of game making that you deliver, hey, I have kind of my doubts. Otherwise, you would have get funded by other companies, maybe by publishers directly, just having a little booth or having goodies to hand out and all that. You know, so some other partnerships going on. than only the government. I just have my doubts that you were really that important for the gaming culture in Australia. I might be very wrong. I never saw anything of this event, free play, but it seems to be coming to an end, maybe the last one, because no money's for you. I'm just saying, when normal people like stuff, they are going to give you a little bit money. They're going to give you a little bit money to survive if it's worth for the broader audience, for the normal audience. So it seems a little bit weird that you phrase it this way and are so dependent on government funding. Now, this is kind of a sad news and an infuriating news because Sony is going out of business of making TVs. They have a long history of making TVs, just pointing that out. The end of an era. Sony spins off iconic television business. Sony is historically best known for its consumer electronics, but truth be told, it's been an entertainment organization for years now. Yeah, I mean, PlayStation is an insanely big part, but, you know, they've still made a lot of consumer products. I mean, albeit the quality has decreased over the last 10, 15, maybe 20 years, making cheaper and cheaper and less useful products. But still, it's a sad news. PlayStation, along with Sony Pictures Entertainment and Sony Music Entertainment, has spearheaded its transformation. And recently it's talked at length about how it aims to dominate in an emerging media categories like anime. Yeah, they want to do that more, I guess. For example, Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle, the most successful anime in history, money-wise at least, in absolute numbers. And it's still not out, by the way. Demon Slayer is still not out on streaming. You can watch it in cinemas. I mean, I have seen it in full HD already, and it's okay. I thought the first 3-4 movies were better, but it's pretty okay. I just don't see why it's so successful. It's not a massive surprise then that it's announced plans to spin off its television business as part of a new joint venture with Chinese juggernaut TCL. And TCL is asshole because it's Chinese and they have... I have a TCL TV and I turned off all kinds of fucking privacy issue problems, apps in the background as far as I can. And it has good Chrome TV or Android TV, depending on which version you're using, how it's called. And I can't use my HDMI ports anymore. So yeah, fuck TLC for that. And Sony had their own systems for quite a while, and now they're just doing this joint venture and just selling off, in that sense, their technology. I don't know, man. I don't know why you're giving China even more power. Just weird. If they had their way, all games would be a queer fury pop porn in a poly relationship. You have a good imagination there, El Mascarado. I think experience. Mexican furries. No, I love my Sony Bravia TV. I mean, they were good. Too pricey for me always. Bravia was always too pricey. And I learned, like, in sales, I had my my internship. Not really, it was more like apprenticeship, what we have in Switzerland. And I had it in sales, and I was surrounded by Sony, Panasonic, and all those good old brands, you know. And Sony was always just too pricey for the same quality you could have gotten on other brands, the same. Some of the newer Bravia TVs are rebadged Hisense. Probably. I mean, it's not like they are just doing the deal out of nowhere. They probably were in negotiations for 5 years or longer, you know. It's not like they just came out of this year. Oh, the Sony CEO wake up. Well, let's just sell off our TV brand. No, they had negotiations and probably already deals for parts and system supply stuff. I've heard that that's really only the 3 companies that make TVs the illusion of choice. What you heard and you remember probably because your brain is a fucking Swiss cheese, all kinds of holes. That was a long time the issue with CRTs. TVs like the new TVs, yeah, I mean, the panel itself, you have like just 3 big conglomerates who make the panels. LG is one, then Hisense is the newer one that is becoming probably one of the biggest now. And what was the third one? I forgot. But yeah, the panels itself, electronics behind it and all that is a different story. It's a kind of a different story. Speakers is a big major thing. You need you want a TV with good speakers. Otherwise, you need a fucking sound bar these days for most part, and all that. And Samsung, of course. Yeah, Samsung. But Samsung is interchangeable, I think, with LG panels. The LG OLED panels are my favorite. LG in general has been my go-to. China. El Mascarado is a Mexican fanboy of Trump. Obviously. You know, in Mexico, people casually dress up as Nazis. Yeah, I mean, thank you for that information. Nobody asked for that, and I don't know how that's relevant for our story right now here around, but thank you very much. A while back, there was even a Nazi-themed wedding. Lol, there's El Mascarado. I've got a Sharp TV. About a year ago, they removed Tubi of it. No warning, no nothing, just gone. Well, sucks to be a Sharp TV guy. When I got out of my parents' house in 2007, I got actually a credit loan just to have buying some furniture and all that. And I bought also a Sharp TV because Sharp was at that very, very particular year the best TV producer, just like quality-wise and all that. Sharp Aquos or something like that. I don't remember the exact model, but it cost me like, out of my 10,000 loan I took as credit, which I paid off immediately when I got the money together. I'm not gonna pay interest, those motherfuckers. It cost me like 5,000 Swiss francs, which was in 2007 like 1-to-1 with the US dollars, more or less. So half of my loan went out for this amazing, back then, amazing, really high quality, super sharp, crisp, very nice TV by Sharp. But after it broke 7 years ago, no, now 10 years ago, I was not going with Sharp anymore. LG was, from then on, my to-go for like living room TVs. Hisense is the best cheap option. LG is the best option overall. See a lot of TCLs at Walmart. I mean, they're flooding the markets, of course. Chinesium, best Chinesium. Hisense is also Chinesium. So if my TV breaks, what TV would you all recommend? Yeah, get an LG or an OLED in general, but LG is pretty much the best OLED panel producers. Samsung was my favorite. I have a 2009 Samsung that I still use. Yeah, Samsung is good, but keep my fingers away from Samsung as far as I can, as much as I can. Under the conditions of the deal, TCL will own 51% of the new company, while Sony will hold the remaining 49%, meaning it no longer have a commanding stake in the business. That's bullshit. That's a bullshit phrase. Just because you have only like not the majority and only 2% less doesn't mean you have no commanding in the stake in this business. That's absolutely bullshit. Because Sony just then could say like, well, we're gonna just sell all our leftover stocks for nothing. Would hurt the whole company. So no commanding stake is absolutely nonsense. I don't know why journalists write like that. And I'm not an economist or anything like that, but having like almost the same amount, just not the majority, like the absolute majority in the stakes here. No commanding, nonsense. Despite this, TCL is expecting to retain the Sony and Bravia branding for the future products, and Sony's high-quality picture and audio technology will continue to be leveraged. TCL will also be bringing its own display technology to the table. The most optimistic of outcomes, the joint venture will result in industry-leading Bravia panels, which retail for lower prices than the competition. Of course, the proof will be in the pudding. Well, not for the US, because I don't know how it was prior to the tariffs with China and Japan products. But yeah, it's not going to be probably like the same quality, but cheaper. Hard to say. We have to wait till real TCL Bravia products will be released and on the market. Joint agreement between the two companies are expected to be finalized in March, with the new business aiming to begin operating from April 2027, subject to the usual regulatory approvals and conditions. Should the deal get ratified, this will certainly mark the end of an era for Sony, who's been a major player in the television industry since it introduced the TV 8-301 in the 1960s. Yeah, they had great CRTs. Trinitron, their Trinitron mask was revolutionary. Probably still, like, just CRT-wise, the best ever produced. Probably. But yes. How old are you guys? I am kind of waiting for this, but also kind of not.
When times were simpler.
You already hear the music, right?
This was a healthy breakfast. This was a powerful workout. And this was a hero.
And this was a hero. A blonde white dude, by the way.
Perhaps now more than ever, we need that kind of hero again.
That's just the teaser. The teaser for the trailer, which came out a day later. So, and I think we're gonna watch the trailer together now, everybody. If you haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna be very honest right away. I watched He-Man, but not like intensively. I don't remember a lot of the story, like who is whom and what was their role and all that. I vaguely remember all the roles, but I don't know like deeply the lore anymore. Let's put it that way. And yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now the part I really dislike. If you remember, Man at Arms, it's a very white dude, and his daughter was always fighting besides Adam and himself, also white. I don't know if that's lore relevant. I don't know that part, you know. But why does it need to be Idris Elba? I kind of could go along with Heimdall, but like mythical ones. Heimdall was very white. But in Marvel's universe, Heimdall was also played by Idris Elba. I was okay with that. I didn't care too much, but why you keep doing all that stuff over and over again? Just pointing that part out.
Legends and bedtime stories.
Hey, Sarge.
Talking tigers. spaceships, and magic swords.
Visually, I dig it. I'm gonna be honest. Visually, I already dig it,
Where I
kind
come
of.
from, that stuff is real.
It's little Adam. Now he's a big Adam.
Why did you send me away?
I wanted you to be safe. So I sent you to a
Especially that part. I don't know if they went too far with that story part. Was that a thing in the original cartoon? Like, was he sent off to protect him to Earth?
place I knew that they'd never find you. There's
Adam Grant. He, him. Of course, he, him. Oh, come on, YouTube.
It's not a good look for human resources.
I found your sword.
I know it sounds crazy, but that sword
It's mine.
showed me the way home.
Oh. Don't touch it. Fuck you, freak.
Do that.
Blue-haired freak.
The sword's mine.
Sword is mine. You seem a little bit weak there, Adam.
Hang on.
Your true power. That's the daughter of Hila or something, of the man at arms. Very white. I mean, she's Latinx. El Mascarada, and you just... Here you have... I don't remember a robot or any role. Here's the War Tiger, which has not the war stuff. Usually in this state he is very frightened by everything. A pussy, a real pussy, just a big one. That's Man at Arms. Very black Idris Elba. Never forget, Idris Elba hates pointy knives. That's the problem in our societies. Pointy knives.
What am I supposed to do?
Just visually, He-Man, Adam is the actor, I think, is a perfect pick. He looks like a very wide shoulder, you know, big guy, blonde. He looks like the Adam I want as He-Man.
Take the sword. You protect them.
Shut up, Idris. I'm gonna say it again. Visually, I'm okay with everything I see so far. Visually, just the trailer being a little bit low quality, bitrate wise. Good moves, nothing wrong with that. Masters of the Universe. But they show a little bit too much about the movie, I think. Maybe like I got the power, you didn't need to show like that one effect. Maybe just in the background, hearing him at the very end would have been better. Visually nice, the choices of every character, that's a different story. But so far I am interested. TCL cheapo panel with Bravia color profile. They seem to be everywhere mass produced. All the TVs are mass produced. I didn't exist when the show originally aired. I mean, neither in the 70s, but you still like in Europe you got like certain stuff a few years later. So, and reruns of the show. You should have seen it at one point. Time for me my Monday hiking. That sounds. Why are you making it sound so weird, Sarge? Why? Are you home today or still sightseeing? Oh no, he has to probably work in his Mexican factory. Home yesterday was a day trip only. As long as those ghosts didn't get you, that's good news. Isn't the word masters a bit racist? No, because it's Masters of the whole universe. So it's like all the races, not just Earth races. So it's okay then. Should rename Parents of the Universe. She's a white Mexican. White Mexican. It is a good actor, but he's a retard in a real life. He is an okay actor. I wouldn't praise him like in every role you see it. I'm not sure about in this one. I don't like that they just needed Idris Elba to be the man at arms. I mean, I talked about that long ago because he was already in the talks. Show whatever 40 or something of the gaming news, around there in the 40s. I showed it already there that he was already chosen for that, and I was already not okay. But now we saw him like in his costume, so that's a little bit different feeling. Hopefully this brings back the 80s men crop tops. Doubtful, because it's an Amazon movie after all. It's an MGM. MGM was bought up by Amazon. I kind of hated that it's now MGM, an Amazon company below, you know. It just sounds weird. He-Man reinforces the patriarchy and she-it. He needs to be gender fluid, not enough DEI here. You had never watched it, I guess, dear Sarge. Because She-Ra is also a thing. I don't even remember. She-Ra was not his sister, right? I think it was his cousin. I think it was his cousin. But yes, She-Ra was like the female part of this universe, the powerful female part. So they don't need to go any DEI in this one. They could make She-Ra in 5 years or whatever. And strong, independent woman and hear me roar. And all that nonsense. But yes, visually, I think it's fine. Absolutely fine. And good thing Jared Leto, who plays Skeletor, is behind the mask. We don't see his fucking stupid baby face. Ex-MMO dev allegedly hacked 68 players for in-game gold worth over $700,000 and sold it for Bitcoin. UK court finds the gold legally counts as property and can be stolen. A new judgment from the UK Court of Appeal finds that gold in MMOs can be treated as property and legally subjected to criminal theft. Continuing a case involved a game developer who allegedly stole mountains of gold by hacking players and then sold that gold for real-world money. Yeah, I mean, it's all just phony fucking money. Nothing is real, really. But yeah, we all just keep pretending. That makes us feel good, and the government is fucking us. That's my point. A former moderator of OSRS, we come to that. OSRS developer Jagex allegedly accessed 68 different player accounts by hacking and or using credentials of members of the account recovery team, and then stripped those accounts of hundreds of billions of gold pieces and transferred them to purchasers whom he sold them offline, receiving in return Bitcoin and fiat currency. Jagex, which is the producer of the RuneScape branding, Jagex seemingly working off the rates at which real money can be used to buy in-game bonds that can be exchanged for OSRS membership, subscription time, or sold for gold, says the stolen gold is worth £543,123, or roughly $729,359. The fact that these bonds provide a clear value anchor and an allowed means of converting money to gold appeared essential to the case. in part because this can be compared to the acknowledged and prohibited OSRS real-world trading market, where gold pieces are regularly bought and sold outside the game despite this prohibition. So yeah, I mean, Jagex is just protecting themselves in that sense. Like, yeah, we are not allowing that. If you do that stuff, if you sell our in-game currency in real world, that's prohibited. Everything is illegal in that sense. So they already told us that. It's old school RuneScape. That's what I was searching. Old school RuneScape. So yeah, that has the implication now for many other companies. They should keep an eye on that. And maybe the IRS in the US is going to keep an eye on your in-game currencies now. They need now access to all the games and in-game currencies, because everything can be sold somehow outside, right? Is now real property, according to this UK court appeal court. It's an interesting fact. That's why I picked this news, not about the game, who gives a shit about old school RuneScape, but the fact that the court said, like, it's because a value is attached to the in-game currency, real world value, it is now property. Ooh, what can go wrong in the future? Who knows? We're gonna see. We're gonna see. We have to wait, as usual, though. Wait, some guy stole fake online gold and sold it for real money? What the fuck? Yeah, because with the in-game currency, you can have like the subscription paid, because RuneScape and online old school RuneScape has a monthly subscription for $10 or so if you paid month by month, or I think $80 or $90 for annually. And if you can get by that, just farming in-game currency and buying like subscription with in-game currency, that has some value, right? That has some value. I was able to do that with World of Warcraft for quite a while. After the Blizzard introduced like the in-game gold can be sold in-game in the auction house for real money to other people's, or directly instead of real money on your Blizzard account, on your battle account. Just buy us a month of playtime, you know. I was able to do almost 2 years this way, you know, just playing daily, farming my gold, and buying this way subscriptions very easily. Because some people don't want to wait, they have real world money. They just go buy gold in the game to buy other stuff in the game. So yeah, that's how it works. Jared seems to be cursed. Almost every movie he's been in for the last decade blows. Jared Leto, he means. I just hate his face. He has such a baby face. And I was so glad. I mean, that sounds crazy, but it's a movie. It's not real. Keep your horses a little bit down. I kind of like the scene where he was punched in the face very, very hardly multiple times in Fight Club, making him extra pretty. You remember that scene? I think that was his first bigger role in Fight Club with Jared Leto. Oh, him. I just had a DYP test, very intense. What is it, DYP? DYP, what does that test? DYP, you balls in another guy's mouth? Stop, I don't want to know. If it involves balls, I am not interested. You can talk about it to each other. I love to love. Says Cocteau. Did you reach the toilet water? Dip your penis? What? I'm not. Why do we have the penis talk? Why are you so interested in other people's penis? Don't know what it is. I mean, so hate that test. I always blame failing it on being cold shrinkage, even though I'm in Arizona. Sure, Sarge. I mean, at least you point that out. That it's not cold and it's just your parts being shriveled and small. EVE Online's ISK has a conversion rate like other real currencies. Internet spaceship is serious shit. I mean, you have that in what was the newer game, which was in development for 15 years now still, and hasn't come out like out of beta testing. Star Citizen, I don't know. People pay like hundreds and hundreds of dollars for one-time purchases of a spaceship in a game. I mean, to each their own. They make your heart they make your heart beat very fast for 10 minutes with 2 injections. Every EVE Online loss has a USD value. I pay attention to my medical crisis. It seems to be involved with balls and penises, according to Dear Sarge, at least. So I'm not going to pay attention to balls and penises. He was in Fight Club. Don't remember him. Of course he was in Fight Club. Let me. Jared Leto, Fight Club. It was his first bigger role. Fight Club is now 1999, 26 plus years old. Yeah, I mean, come on today, Brave Search. What's wrong with you? Today extra slow. Don't forget about my shaved ball tag. I maybe not able to ever. Okay, that's stupid. I don't like to get outside of Brave Search, but it seems my in-browser VPN seems to be very, very shitty today. At least for Brave. Jared Leto Fight Collab. Yeah. The blonde guy. Babyface. Now you remember, Sarge? That's when he was super happy seeing the ball rolling down. Or no, he was talking about the tits of the news anchor lady. That he finds those tits amazing or something like that. I guess you know it now. Right? Right. Anyhow, let's move on. We are not at the main story yet. Because of the good chat. Man allegedly pretending to be an ICE agent broke into a house and tried to steal a PlayStation. A teenager in Pittsburgh was forced to fight a man armed with a knife after allegedly broke into the teen's family home and falsely claimed to be Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agent before trying to steal some in electronics, including a PlayStation console. I mean, some of those ICE agents are absolutely mental. You can deny it all day long, but some of them are absolutely insane, stupid, and fucktards. And I want to remind everybody, about 1.5 years ago, especially on Rumble, everybody was like convinced fads are in Rumble chats and fads are fag. Period. That was like the big saying on the Rumble chats. You know, and today, because of godlike Trump, all those fads are now, obey the law. You need to obey the law, and those fads are good fads. No, not fags anymore. No, some of them still are like super mental. Especially ICE agents think like they are above law, actually. And you can pretend all day long, and you can give me all the down likes, what you want. I don't care. But if you cheer up that bullshit they are doing overall, and I've seen like a lot of fads in ICE, particularly being charged with pedophilia charges, meaning like child molesting, having pedophilic material on their PCs and phones and all that. And the percentage is a little bit higher than they claim actually to go after. Only the rapist and pedophilic. illegal immigrants right now. All bullshit. Fads in general, still for me, fags. That's my stand. But yeah, I mean, you don't know somebody like this, that mantle going with a knife after your family there. As reported by local news network WTAE4, according to a recently filed criminal complaint, 35-year-old William Gregory allegedly broke into a house in the Belts Hoover neighborhood outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and began shouting that he was an ICE agent and demanded that the reportedly Hispanic family show him identifying paperwork. And that's a thing. Like some ICE agents just demanding out of nowhere. They're allowed to demand that, but nobody needs to go along with that demand, especially when you are a US citizen. You can go and tell them, go fuck off. Do you have any real complaint? Do you have any warrant, anything of that kind? No? Go fuck your way away from me. Police report that the teenager fought back against a fake ICE agent and eventually punched Gregory in the face hard enough to knock him out cold. Police later arrived at the scene and found the intruder still unconscious. I believe that that is a Hispanic home, you know, and our neighborhood is very diverse. Crystal Calloway, who lives next door to the house where the robbery happened, told WTAE4. Good on the kid that he was able to punch that dude so hard in the face that he was still unconscious when the police arrived and dragged his sorry ass away. And that might happen more often, I don't know, because, like I said, ICE agents are being praised like they are God's sent warriors for justice, despite not being so. Might happen more and more, just people pretending more and more being ICE agents because they are so unhinged in many regards. It's morbing time. That was a bad movie. I have to go another test. I'll see you on the next stream. Okay, have a good one, Cocteau. Wasn't Urban Legend his first role? I wouldn't consider that. I don't remember him there as a big role, that's for sure. MrsSarge, the guy with the super blonde hair whose face they turned into a hamburger. Or the blonde bitch. He looked punchable. Yeah, because of his baby face, and he smiled always so wannabe innocent. I need to rewatch this movie. It's been so long. It's probably my favorite movie. I mean, my favorite movie is an anime, is Akira. But like a live action movie, actually, Fight Club might be my favorite one. Would you support me joining Ice Ike? Those 30K for joining sounds nice. Do whatever you want, I don't care. Just don't be an unhinged fag. That's my advice. That's a good way to get your ass kicked by a faggy fat Ike. Yeah, but that would just prove my point that they are like pretending and acting like they're above law. Like the First Amendment is a thing still, isn't it, in the US? And you are allowed to say everything you want to those fags out there. Doesn't mean it's true or anything, but you should be absolutely allowed. Am I so wrong? I don't think so. Ike serves more of a valuable purpose than panty sniffers at FBI. Not really. What they are doing right now in not Pennsylvania, in Minneapolis. I mean, I might be fed by the fucking algorithms on X too much, seeing just bad stuff by ICE, but it's not good what is happening right there. The ICE agents there are unhinged, just unhinged. Just punching people and throwing them around just because they are protesting your First Amendment right, just to protest in peace, as long as you don't attack them or anything like that. They have to deal with that. Otherwise, get a different job. That's my advice. Like I said, before Trump, fads in general were like, yeah, fuck off, blah, blah, blah. Now all of a sudden, everything has been thrown off board. And even like the Second Amendment is now in question. Like Trump saying shouldn't be with a gun on streets and all that. That's nonsense. You all need to be more honest to yourself and protect your own rights you have, and not go along with the fads telling what your rights are. Protesters have to legally comply with an officer's order. Yeah, if the order is legally, that's always the crux here. If the order is illegal in the first place, like as a fad telling, or regular state police, I would say, if they demand from you just leave, but not being a threat and not being obstructing anything, no, that's an illegal order then. That's very simple. They need to protect your constitution. They are your servants, not the other way around. Keep that in mind, man. Do not talk about Fight Club. And if you do, the second rule is the first rule. Protesting versus obstructing is a fine line. Yeah, I mean, if you just shoot somebody because he was protecting another protester who was not attacking an officer, the fine line is not very fine there. It's very obvious to me, at least. But yes, I think the ICE is in Minneapolis right now just unhinged. You have to pay attention to that. And it's all wanted, by the way. It's all wanted from both sides. I'm not taking sides. I'm just observing and seeing what happens. And the feds are not doing a good job. They're kicking in people's doors without a warrant, but who knows the truth? Yeah, we have some cases. How many? And is that like irregular? That's a different story. But yes, if you're like just a regular dude who sees stuff and protests, you are not an obstruction. That's what I say. NVIDIA's N1 and N1X gaming laptops could be imminent. Here's what that means for your next rig. Well, not really, but they pretend. Rumors of NVIDIA's new ARM-based processors have been swirling around the web for years now. But a new report from DigiTimes suggests that the debut of these gaming laptops, SoCs, systems on a chip, that's what SoC means, could be just around the corner. Suggested to land inside a currently unnamed Dell machine, NVIDIA N1 and N1X machines would seek to compete with the best gaming laptops from an efficiency perspective, while still offering solid discrete graphics power. The DigiTimes Taiwan report states that the Windows on ARM WOA platform NB and model using N1X will debut in the first quarter of 2026, with N1X machines set to hit retail shelves in quarter second. If they do so, they'll be the brand's first ARM-based rigs, looking to take on Intel's Panther Lake and AMD's Strix Halo systems. The NVIDIA N1X reportedly offering the power of an RTX 5070. NVIDIA has its sights set on far greater performance. I just doubt that it's going to have the performance of a 5070. Just like having more efficient ways but the same performance like a 5070, because that's not an old architecture of the 5070. Maybe Haste is going to be a little bit sad because he just got an ARM-based system notebook, which he's happy with, but gaming-wise, this might have been great for you. Just saying, because he is one of those weirdos who buys ARM Windows systems. Nothing to pay attention to. Fuck those illegals and lesbians supporters of them. Rounding up Americans for J6 election was way worse. No, I'm not agreeing on that. I mean, like quantity more probably in prison, but murdering a guy on the streets like a thug, and many of those, for some reason, many of those ICE agents hold their guns sideways like gangster. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit, man. I guess UrhG is today a fad lover. I'm a big fan of arm efficiency. I'm getting a chubby. A chubby. Ugh. A chubby. You have like only a small peni and it goes sideways, or what is it? A chubby. Michael Bird is a murderer. Was that the guy who shot? I don't know. Oh, you mean in at January 6th, who shot the blonde bitch? I don't know. I'm not good with names. You know that. You know that very well. He's got a hard arm. Okay. Tomb Raider Sophie Turner says her Lara Croft is not a sexy bombshell. You remember Sophie Turner, the redhead in Game of Thrones, right? Not big titties. I already talked about that. She is not the best choice for a Lara Croft. And now she confirms, like, yeah, it's not about being sexy, just saying. Sophie Turner will play Lara Croft in the upcoming Prime Video Tomb Raider TV series, and now she's shared more details about her take on the character, saying she won't aim to be a sex bombshell. It's about her and her story and what drives her, rather than what so many people also love about her, which is how hot she is in the games and the movies. Turner told the LA Times, "But I really want to show the other side. She's so unashamedly capable. She is not a woman who hides her strength at all. I now really feel like I could protect them," she said. "As a mom, I come up with scenarios in my head and I'm like, okay, if a man jumped out of here, and what would I do? And it's always like, I just pick the kids up and run. But now it's changed. My instinct would be to deck him in the face." After she trained hard, you know. And yeah, I just want to remind everybody how she looks. She's not aging super well. Just want to say that. My browser VPN is really pissing me off right now. She's got the range of a Daisy air rifle. Come on. That's the showrunner. Miss, what was her name? I forgot. I don't care for her. She's like a one-night stand, and then I don't want to know anything about you anymore. Bye-bye kind of face. Bridget something. There's the fucking picture. Look at this. Nobody wants this show. I'm going to tell you right now. Nobody wants this show. She's not sexy. She looks like a dude, but not a good-looking dude in that sense, right? She has like muscles, but not the amount that makes it look sexy on a woman at all. Still thin, flat-chested, little bumps here. If I want action Lara Croft, I just play the newest trilogy. Where even that Lara Croft has bigger tits than you, but she has still also a flat chest. So what's the point here? This show is gonna bomb, and they're gonna then blame everybody like, yeah, sexist, and you just wanted big titties. Yes, exactly. Exactly that was the case. We want fucking big titties, Lara Croft. and still being able to jump around and shoot and all that. That's what made the games like something new, amazing. Seeing this female with big titties shooting animals, dinosaurs and tigers and bears. Why, man? I guess Amazon just tries hard. Phoebe Waller-Bridges, nose bridges. She looked like John Lennon. What? Because of the tinted glasses. I mean, you're not too wrong. And like I said, Haste, a cheeseburger will not help. Not on the titties. Maybe a little bit more on the ass side, but yeah, she needs more than one cheeseburger. I may be the outlier here. Wait, what did you say? Just be happy they didn't give her a bulge. And no, I honestly don't mind how this new Lara Croft looks. Well, you have your opinion, El Masquerado, that's fine. You're allowed to have your own opinion. Even if that opinion stinks, you are absolutely allowed to have it. I am allowed to say your opinion stinks, though. Very simple. Pull up the Angelina Jolie Lara Croft and do side by side. You have that multiple times on the webs now. Angelina had a little bit more to offer. Yes. Face-wise, titty-wise, ass-wise, hips-wise. She was a good choice. She was a good choice for Lara, indeed. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle streaming debut may be further delayed. Like I said, the most successful anime in history so far. And it's still not coming out on streaming. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Infinity Castle may not be getting an Academy Awards nod this year. Honors to go to K-pop Demon Hunter. That was the K-pop, Korean pop Demon Hunter by Netflix. But one of the highlight films of 2025 is still being celebrated in its native Japan, becoming the first anime to receive the IMAX treatment in the country. Although the film was released last summer, Infinity Castle is returning to theaters in Japan with an extended 1.43 by 1 aspect ratio, which probably means fans are still a ways away from the film coming home to digital, and potentially even longer for its to hit streaming services. Like I said, I already saw it on full HD. It's okay anime. I expected a little bit more, I would say. The story goes a little bit too much into this demon here, this guy, how he became a demon. It's not a bad story, but it's too long, like the part is a little bit too long here. And IMAX, that means it's just more picture. Follow the links down below to this article, or just go to YouTube, type in Demon Slayers IMAX, and you're going to get the trailer. And they show you how much more of the anime you actually see below and above what you saw so far, if you have watched it in theater. You must have some ugly bitches trannies over your way if that looks good by comparison. He's in California, so yeah, obviously he has more trannies there. Pull up the, I said that already. The side by boob of Angelina Jolie in Tomb Raider when she's topless, tossing the towel. Ooh. Oh, Haste got just a little bit more chubby down there after he heard about the ARM notebook by NVIDIA. He's getting now a hard one by Angelina Jolie. Just saying that this Lara Croft doesn't bother me. Yeah, we got that, El Masquerado. Believe me, everybody got that. Everybody understands that you are very easy to please. I mean, you are watching this show, so you're very easy to please, right? I used the DVD stop replay low feature. Haste, you're also a weird one. That's super wide. Not wide. High. IMAX is higher. Just watch a trailer. You see exactly what they show you more. That's hope it makes it back here. Would pay watch it in 40x. Yeah, probably if it's gonna be successful, and most likely it's gonna be successful. In Japan, they're gonna put it in some theaters, in IMAX theaters in the US. The point is, you still can't stream it. Crunchyroll told everybody, yeah, you're gonna be able to stream it next year. They didn't exactly specify when, but people still waiting. If you haven't watched it in theater, you still have to wait for Crunchyroll to release it on streaming. Again, I had my ways, and it was already released on some streaming platform, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to watch it in real HD. Not this screener bullshit. I hate screener. I did that, by the way. That was long ago. Maybe around 2002-ish, 3, 4, something like that. I went to go watch Dragon Ball Z. Yes, Z. In theater, like a special cut in German. They had made a special cut of movie number 12 and 13, like one movie in total. Made no sense, but I was young and stupid. That was, like I said, over 22 years ago now, something like that. I took my DV cam, not mine, my brother's DV cam, you know, digital video with the small cassettes, small tapes. And this theater was absolutely empty, you know, and had a balcony. So I was like higher. I was able to go to the center, could choose my seat and put it had like a nice platform kind of on the balcony to put my camera there. Just record it perfectly, pretty much. But unfortunately, I was not completely alone. 2 other kids were there, you know, and just sat very close because all seats were free, and they choose to get also to the center in the balcony. Yeah, they were chatting around, and I said to them, "Could you please be a little bit quieter? I'm recording." That was kind of funny. And I recorded the movie on DV. I had like the best screener for that movie out there. Just saying, I released quite a lot of illegal stuff long ago. Illegal in the sense of just because it's copyrighted, right? 40X is a movie theater gimmick where the seats move, blow air and water at you. Yeah, we have. I have one in the nearest city with 4DX. Never went to one though. I'm not super into theaters anymore. Angelina had her tits cut off due to a breast cancer scare and turned her kids into trannies. Quite an unfuckable today. Yeah, I mean unfuckable titty-wise, but she still looks okay. Mentally not in a good state. I agree absolutely there, dear Sarge. What the fuck is that? You don't know that top? Well, that's sad to hear. I asked the dude. Apparently, it was pretty high possibility she would get breast cancer. She would have had access to the very best doctors. You know that breast cancer is, for us, a good reason so prevalent these days, because all women these days wearing like BH, right? And those are all made mostly of plastic. And the titties suck up, because titties always sweat a little bit under, you know, and they suck up all the plastic, and that gets right into those titties. And actually, that's a big cause of breast cancer. We found that out just recently, like the last 3-4 years, something like that. All of a sudden, breast cancer now is related to plastics in breast holders. So you might get some cotton just made out of natural products. Just saying, if you have titties. UrhG is not there yet. He has not man titties. But just as a little warning already, UrhG. Breast holder, a bra. Bra is just short for breast holder, isn't it? They hold the breasts. They hold the breasts. But cotton be racist. Sure. You'd rather get breast cancer than being supposedly racist. Fine. Don't blame me later, though. Fable launches this fall for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Just as a side note, if you still are interested in that tranny figure character in Fable, it's going to be released this year on PlayStation, Xbox Series, and PC. Isn't that amazing? This game will so flop. It was not clear before the PlayStation release. It was just not really clear. Now it's confirmed that it's going to be launched on PlayStation this fall. This is news for Sarge because he loves unions. He jerks off at unions. United Video Games Union writes to US Fed in protest of Saudi EA acquisition, attaching public petition. The CWA-backed United Video Games Union, what a fucking name, man. Double unity here, has written to the US Federal Trade Commission in opposition to the proposed acquisition of EA by private investors, including Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, and various investment firms. The letter, published on Action Network, lays out the case against the acquisition, stating that EA is not a struggling company, and any jobs lost as a result of the sale would be a choice, not a necessity, made to pad investors' pockets, not to strengthen the company. Yeah, welcome to the fucking open market, to the free and public marketplace there. If I'm going to acquire a company, and if the company makes a deal with me, yeah, I can demand everything else from that point on, because it's now my company. Idiot. But that's the downsides of such big fucking stupid deals. I still don't think it's a good, really deal for the world of gaming in general, that the Saudis have now everything EA included. They conclude the letter with a call for members of the US public to sign an accompanying petition, and to request to members at the Federal Trade Commission who could potentially halt the deal, writing, "We are calling on the regulators and the elected officials to scrutinize this deal and ensure that any path forward protects jobs and preserves creative freedom." No, that's not how that works. It is not the job of an owner of any company. I know it sounds like bad for certain individuals and workers, absolutely. And it might be bad in general, sure. But it's not the job of an owner that to protect your job. The owner primarily wants one thing: to make money with its products. Very simple. Very simple. And if you make more money by just laying off 10,000 people after the deal is completely and done and over, you know, that's what's going to happen. And you can't stop it. It is not their job to keep you like entertained with a job. I think that's kind of like very simple to comprehend. I might be wrong though. He is back. The Cocteau is back. Although now I'm waiting to see if I'm all good or screwed. Fable looks trash. Fable is trash. At least this new one. I had plenty of hours in the original Fable. I don't remember anything though, which is kind of weird. Talk about unions get people riled up. I wonder if New York nurses are still on strike. I don't know. Comrade Ike loves unions. The best. Yeah. I'm a union buster. There's such a union buster. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? How do you bust the unions there, El Mascarado? I wonder. Unions only benefit some groups of specialty and in-demand skill. Business owners want to make the most money with the least amount of expense. Yes, that's pretty much what I said, didn't I? Pilots and nurses have great unions. Yeah, I have nothing against unions. Some jobs are better off with unions to protect really the health of the workers. But not just to protect you having a job in the first place. That shouldn't be like the union's job. And if you have a union and they can't do even that, the union is worthless. Like you have all kinds of unions all around the globe, but mainly in the Western world, in the so-called Western world. And they negotiate with like the owners of companies, and it comes out, and usually you are a union member, you pay the union a membership fee, right? And they negotiate, and all of a sudden, the union leaders getting like a little bit richer, they keep their jobs, but all of a sudden, the job's gonna move to China or India or whatever, right? Just outside to save money. And therefore the union has become at this point then useless. That happens so often, really so often. So that's why unions usually are useless, because they seem to forget what they are supposed to do with the new unions. So yeah, fuck them. Unions can make employees soft. Most unions are worthless. When I was in a union, we lost something every negotiation. We have too much diversity for unions to work. And I think that's not the job, like the primary job for unions, to make your job like more fun or easier in that sense, just to protect your health. That's, I think, the main job of a union, protect your health as a worker. In gaming, in development and all that, unions, no, fuck it. Either you're a good coding guy, you can make arts, whatever. That's why you have been hired in the first place in such a company, in a game company, right? And if you're now not worth anymore for them, a union should not like preserve your place somehow. That just seems wrong. It's gonna just blow up like the expenses in general. But yes, unions, usually, most of them, very useless. So they proposed this letter to the feds here, and we got then a little bit more information later on. US lawmakers ask FTC to thoroughly review $55 billion EA deal, warning of potential negative impact on workers. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. The United States Congressional Labor Caucus has written to the Federal Trade Commission to raise concerns about the potential impact of the proposal $55 billion acquisition of Electronic Arts led by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. The caucus objections stem from concerns regarding how this deal will affect workers, especially as the deal is financed with at least $20 billion of debt, which creates strong incentives for the acquiring firm to pursue further cost-cutting measures, including layoffs, offshoring, reconstructing, or studio closures. That's always going to happen. And never anything like negotiations with the fucking government prevented that. Every time somebody buys up like a bigger company, a bigger corporation, or it get fused, or it will get bought up by another stock holding, traded, bigger corporation, the easiest method to get money back right away in the first year usually is always massive layoffs, closures of certain products, and of life of certain products. You will not prevent that. The US Federal Trade Commission will not prevent that. They just can say either, yeah, something is wrong with this deal, the money is not there, the stockholders are not going to be paid out because they are supposed, every stockholder for each stock will get paid out $220 in this deal. And it's, I think, still about $190 worth now, the stock. So you're going to get something back anyhow. So they will not going to prevent anything here. Either they say the deal is like fishy, something is wrong, the money is not there, and the stockholders are going to be scammed, or they just say, yeah, we can't do anything. Calling for daddy government once more. What a surprise. What a surprise. We have too much diversity for unions to work. Unions are a great tying for organized crime and communism. Government should have zero input on labor. They can't even produce a balanced budget themselves. They know fuck all about business. Yeah, but they still have the guns, the bigger guns than you, Sarge. They send the IRS into your house if you don't pay them. It's the biggest criminal organization right there, the fucking government. Yeah, what a surprise. But now it's a good government because Trump, right? Now that's kind of a neat news because this product seems to work high quality, but it looks cheap as fuck. Made that controller for you, boss. Added a heartbeat sensor and built-in screen just like you asked. And it's about this controller here by Abernic. And Abernic was just more like a retro handheld console producer, which preloaded like copyrighted games on their consoles. And not like bad products, but kind of very cheap products, you know. Abernic, a hardware company primarily known for its retro gaming handhelds, is hopping into the world of high-end gamepads with a strange but oddly intriguing controller that contains a heartbeat sensor. That might be something for Sarge. MrsSarge, buy that for Sarge next time when he's going to play anything with a controller. So you can monitor his heartbeat if he's like super enriched in Mario Kart or something. I don't know. The UrhG UrhG-Go1 is a newly announced wireless controller designed to work with PC, mobile phones, and the Nintendo Switch. And it's an odd dock. The UrhG-Go1, which doesn't have a price or specific release date yet, features a 2.5-inch IPS LCD screen in the center of the controller. And I think it's just worth we check out the video a little bit. Because it looks cheap. It just looks. Why are you not working? Oh, you are. Kotaku once more. Let's go to YouTube. UrhG. What was it? UrhG-Go1. Stupid name. Defibrillator. So once the display here, and I bet sooner or later somebody is gonna just run Doom on it, just by itself without being connected to a system. I'm pretty sure. Where was like the backside? Show me the. The music is one of those. It's kind of a unique controller. So the display is there, big display, and extra buttons and switches here. And those switches are interesting because you can make it either just having it kind of a bumper style, actually the analog buttons there to have like a shorter range till it goes off. For fighting games, that's better. Or if you put it down the switch, you can have like a long travel to have it an accelerating effect in racing games, for example. So that's, I never saw actually that feature on any controller ever. And overall, it looks like it seems to be a high-end controller, but what makes it look cheap is that this plastic, this clear plastic on top. Why? That makes it look super cheap, and it's gonna get scratched very easily, and all the blemishes are going to be way easier to be spotted on this clear plastic. I think that's a bad choice. But if you're in the looks for a new controller sooner or later, I guess that's going to be a choice to be considering. Just saying. Weepulse. Robertnik. No, that's not how it's called. Couldn't they afford a hand model who put a nail polish this month? That's what you're paying your attention to the fucking nails? Ugh. Sure, Sarge. Sure. Where's George Constanza when you need him? Seems pointless to me. I don't know. Besides this clear plastic, I think it's an interesting controller for sure. Because you're not going to have only the heartbeat with the sensors on the side, you know. You can have all kinds of apps running on it. Has the possibilities to be a great controller. Just wanted to give you the side notes here. Okay, are we ready for the main news of last week? Ubisoft is fucked. I think they are struggling. I think they are trying to keep themselves alive somehow. It is not going well for them at all. It's just got worse and worse the whole last year already. We had plenty of bad news over bad news over bad news over bad news. It just kept going on a weekly fucking basis. It was crazy, and it's still crazy. And this newest development from last week shows that this company might be not available in maybe 2 years. Just like I predict with BioWare, it's going to not be available after the deal is done. The Saudis might be just closing BioWare altogether. Just saying like, yeah, we have the IP still. We don't need this gay faggot-ass studio who made the Dragon Age the fail guard, you know. We can just close the studio and still keep the games. Doesn't matter. We have the IPs and all the data, blah, blah, blah. And Ubisoft might be in the same state. They don't make any money. They have burned like since the scamdemic, the last 5 years, like plenty of money, plenty of money. The last good news they had was kind of that the Avatar game did a little bit better because of the newest Avatar movie. Some sales have been made with the latest Avatar game, and it got a little expansion pack there. Other than that, they had zero success. The last 5 years, everything was shit for Ubisoft. And it just keeps getting worse and worse for them. Not good. They are cooked. They are cooked. Fake nails grown out of time for a redo, dear Sarge. Broke ass bitch had a gig and showed up all fucked up. It was a Chinese lady in those hands, at least, I think. Ubisoft cancels 6 projects, including Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, closes 2 studios, and confirms further layoffs in major company restructure. Yeah, you can call it restructure. I think you're trying just to keep yourself alive somehow. Ubisoft has announced a sweeping company restructure that will result in the cancellation of 6 games, including its Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, and a delay to further 7 titles. 2 Ubisoft studios will be closed completely as a result of the changes, while others are subject to further layoffs. Now a little like context on the Prince of Persia. I reported on that, of course. It was like in development hell, like they called it, in development hell for 5 years since it was announced in 2021, something like that. And they showed a little bit something, and they claimed like it's gonna be great, blah blah blah. Last year they turned it the project to different studio, to India. Like, yeah, don't worry, the game is still on time. The game is still going well, but we need to restructure. We need to push this game to a different studio who can make it happen easier and closer to a release next year, blah, blah, blah. So just don't worry. Everything is going according to plans, more or less. That was their claim stuff. And I was like hoping, yeah, whatever I saw just visually looks okay. I'm kind of waiting for it because I love the original Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, which I played like a lot of times on the original Xbox. So I waited. I was like hopeful, yeah, change the studio. I don't care. Just don't charge too much for it. Like, don't make it a $70 game, whatever. Just do your stuff, right? And now we hear that after all that money wasted, you know, on 2 different studios at least, but as far as I know and I've heard, they were like in 3 studios involvement, development-wise, and not only 2. After all that wasted money, just cancel that stuff. What is wrong with you? So you don't know what you're doing there at Ubisoft, obviously. At least since the fucking scamdemic. Of the half-dozen games that have been fully scrapped, Ubisoft is only publicly named one today. Its long-awaited Sands of Time remake that was rebooted once already. 3 of the cancelled games were new IPs, while one was a mobile game. Ubisoft's core focus going forward, the company has said, will be on the open-world games and live services. Yeah, you remember maybe I reported on that too, that they said like, yeah, live services are the way to go. That's the only thing that makes money these days and in every studio. Not true, not true. But that's your only way of seeing things, it seems. Only live service games and open world. How well did that go so far? No specific detail has been given of the 7 titles that Ubisoft has delayed either, though this number does include the unannounced game once set for a launch before March 31st. That is widely expected to be the company's Assassin's Creed Black Flag remaster. This will now launch in the coming financial year, so before March 31st, 2027. Ubisoft Stockholm will fully close as a result of the changes, having previously collaborated on Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, which supposedly sold so spiked like insane, blah blah blah, in sales. Alongside alongside mobile studio Ubisoft Halifax, I reported 2 weeks ago on that, or last week. Restructuring have also taken place at Ubisoft office in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, not Dubai, and Trials Studio Red Links and at Massive, home of the Division. Yeah, the Division, you know, that live service game that does so well for them too. Fucking retards. But yeah, that was not the only like information we got out of that. Because they said like, don't worry. Yeah, we said that already about Prince of Persia remake. But don't worry, the IP itself is well and alive. The Prince of Persia series will continue despite the Sands of Time remake cancellation. Thank God they canceled the Prince of Persia remake. I don't know, man. I kind of was intrigued to see what will be released. This company is so dumb, they just need to release Assassin's Creed Black Flag on the PS5 and Series X. Yeah, but the remaster might be a remake, for all I know about Ubisoft handling stuff. They missed out on not doing that in 2024 for the 10th anniversary. I was done with Assassin's Creed after 2. So I really was not enjoying it anyhow. But yes, many people say like that's the best Assassin's Creed, the best SS in Creed, Black Flag with the pirates. But I was like done with Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed after 2. Mainly because of the nouveau bullshit, which I really couldn't play the game at all on my system back then. I was so pissed. I was like, yeah, from now on, I'm just gonna download every game of you if it's the game at least good. Yeah. After a prolonged development period, Ubisoft hit the brakes on the remake of Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. But in the wake of the disappointing news, the publisher said that it isn't calling it quits on the long-running franchise. Long-running my ass, Ubisoft. You be so soft, running on my ass. Oh, how about that? The last Prince of Persia was a side-scroller jumping around. Gameplay-wise, it might be okay, but they gave him Rasta hairstyle. Fucking dreadlocks. That was never a thing in India. That was never a thing in Persia. Fucking dreadlocks. You already lost me on that. Like, just visually, the main character fucking it up. Just to have it somehow, like, attached to new cultures with brown people. Made no fucking sense. So yeah, that's how well this franchise is being handled by you, Ubisoft. So retarded. The remake was cancelled as the project wasn't able to reach the level of quality. Yeah, I bet. Expected from fans, according to the statement from the Prince of Persia development team on X. The statement added that the team didn't want to release something short of what the Sands of Time represents. I mean, you just had like multiple years time to fucking fix everything quality-wise. But you still didn't. So I think you're just retarded. You're very, very dumb. That was just like the confirmation by them that this franchise is still well and alive. I mean, they have no idea what they're going to do with it, because the last Prince of Persia side-scroller was also a flop, but they're going to give you the quality you deserve, everybody. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. I've got Black Flag PS4 version. Plays great on PS5. Yeah, it has to. I've got about a dozen games, only 2 PS5 games I like. Broke boy. Ubisoft shares tumbled to an awful low following yesterday's, last week's, cancellation announcement. If yesterday's Ubisoft announcement of cancellation and studio restructuring and promises to focus on generative AI, we have a good promise there. Fuck our people, fuck our creative heads, fuck our talented people, because they are not talented. Obviously, they can't make the quality for the game Prince of Persia. So we're gonna go focusing on generative AI. Are you even listening to yourself, Ubisoft? Just in general, are you feeling anything what you're doing? I have my doubts that you're knowing what you're doing in general. Yves Guillemot, the CEO, for sure doesn't know what he's doing. Focus on generative AI, where we are intended to win back shareholders' confidence. It's safe to say that's not really worked out. At the start of trading today, the publisher's share price dropped to its lowest level in 14 years. A third of their value wiped out overnight. And that's after years of colossal falls. In fact, a Ubisoft share bought in June 2018 has now dropped in value more than 95%. And I doubt that the writer of this article has included inflation, because inflation is a real thing. So if it's in absolute numbers, falling it below the value of 2018 in general, that means it's even less worth. Very simple, It's like a double scale downwards. So yeah, that's kind of very, very sad for shareholders, at least. I don't remember if I have it in my app here, in my Swiss overall shares look out, if Ubisoft is there, what is the value right now if it's in the app? Ubisoft I don't have. I can't purchase it in regular Swiss markets, I guess. We can try figure it out right meow. Ubisoft stock price. Very simple search. Yeah, I am a human. I didn't even have a chance to click on it. Oh, you wanted two words? Fine. Ubisoft Entertainment, ub.pa stock price, Yahoo Finance. It got a little bit higher today. Wow, amazing. Let's see the last 5 days. So that was last week. Then it plummeted from $6.50, something like that, to $4.50 now. Yeah, that's looking great for you, Ubisoft. You'll be very soft to buy now stocks. It might get up again a little bit, but feels to me like a risky investment, even for that cheap price of $4.50. Rounded up, $4.50. Maybe risk it, maybe buy like 20 shares if you have the chance on your whatever stock trading app you might have on your phone, just to see if it's going to change in half a year. You can maybe have like the investment doubled or at least 20% more. Going to be a win. And if you lose everything, it's not going to be a big loss, right? Weirdos. Ubisoft, very stupid. Where was I? This one we had, this one too, here. A lengthy statement laid out how Ubisoft plans to redesign its entire structure and simplify its operations, all with a goal to create efficiency and convince investors to a company is going. Man, let's restart here with this phrase. A lengthy statement laid out how Ubisoft plans to redesign its entire structure and simplify its operation, all with a goal to create efficiency and convince investors that the company is going to stop hemorrhaging money. The plan promised to focus its attention on turning its established IPs into annual billionaires brands, while directing its attention toward all of last year's buzzwords like GaaS, Games as a Service, and generative AI initiatives. Yeah, maybe people have just enough like of those games as a service. Because last year came out the attention that because of California, of all places, because California at least like pretends to be behind customers and consumers, right? And they made like those companies state that they don't sell the games, they all just rent the games. You don't own any games from any library online you bought. That's plain and simple. So yeah, like you are doing that already, so it's not a big deal. You already stated that, and because of the case in California came out because of Ubisoft in particular, that Ubisoft just stated, yeah, we never said like you own the game. It was always you just buy it as a service. And if you don't have the game in your library anymore, by the way, or if the service runs out, by the way, you even have to destroy the physical media, according to Ubisoft. That was one big thing too. So they are really, really stupid. You'll owe nothing and be happy. Yeah, I mean, Haste was very happy looking on that picture I sent in Discord a few days ago. At the time of writing, a share in Ubisoft wavering around $4.30, $4.45. It has gone up again majorly. down from $6.60 yesterday. That's a drop from a peak of $13.40 last year, and an astonishing plummet from 2018's all-time peak of $95. Things had stayed hopefully until January 2021, when prices still held around $83, but then began to steep slope downward that has never let up. This has all occurred alongside the repeated cancellation of major projects and wave after wave of firing of its employees and at studios all around the world. This endless deck chair rearrangement doesn't appear to be fooling anyone, and each move has seen prices tumble in response. This morning market's reaction to yesterday's latest raft of plans could be the sharpest drop the company has ever seen, unless there's a skin of their teeth bounce back later in the morning, which didn't happen, no. Still, if you were looking to sell your brand to a private owner, as EA is currently attempting, being this colossally incompetent would sure make you look a lot cheaper to interested buyers. Yeah, probably even like interested buyers are not even touching you now at all. Like, holy shit, you're doing so bad. I'm not even interested in buying you up for $2 billion. And they might not even be worth that amount, which is crazy. Because many companies would be able to afford that price, but it seems like nobody really wants to touch Ubisoft right now. Beside Tencent, but Tencent got already that deal for, what was it, $1.3 billion US, with the subsidiary company now owning like the most profitable IPs already, which is Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, and Rainbow Six Siege. Maybe Tencent will buy them up completely, and it's going to become a totally 100% Chinese company this year already. It is really not going well for Ubisoft. Not even in the slightest. Ubisoft is retarded. Ike equates me paying $20 a month for music streaming equally to you'll own nothing. Is the like the comparison wrong though? No. I think I'm very spot on there. Ubisoft launches voluntarily redundancy process to cut 200 jobs from Paris head office. Now they are trying to save money and giving like the people already some chances to just piss off. We're going to help you find maybe a new job and give you like a small relief package, but that's not their first thing to do. Maybe they are required by law in France to have such a program. Similar to the UK, which, what was the company I reported last year, which had also a relief program. I don't remember the name of the company. But yes, they had also such a program, and nobody seems to be taken that chance to get at least something out. And then people just were laid off without any benefits or relief funds or anything. There's Ike who plays mostly on Steam. Not really. I have my Final Fantasy VII PC CD version. Just saying. Right now. So shut your mouth. That will go nowhere. The latest target of Ubisoft's eternal cutbacks is its head office, with 200 roles proposed to be cut from Ubisoft International in Paris. The company has started a voluntary redundancy program to deliver the cuts, with delivery to be negotiated with trade unions. Oh, what a surprise, another union. GamesIndustry.biz understands the number represents 18% of the unit's staff. So if that's 18%, they don't have a lot of working force anymore these days. That's kind of scary, even more scary. The restructure formed the company into 5 creative houses, each responsible for groups of game brands supported by a central creative studio and the business operation division and overseen by Ubisoft HQ. And yes, they are going to have those creative houses because of this restructuring and putting all the IPs in those houses now for some reason. I think they are preparing to be bought up by Tencent. Maybe not by Tencent, maybe by somebody else, but I think they are preparing, like restructuring, making everything like more together, more like tighter in the company. We have closure of at least 4 studios over the past 2 years now that we know of, probably more smaller ones that they don't tell us because they're so not worth to talk about it. No money was involved, whatever. So yeah, I think they are preparing. I think they are preparing for something to come. At this stage, this remains a proposal, and no decision will be final until a collective agreement is reached with the employee representatives and validated by French authorities. Yeah, that's. I don't know about the laws in France, but it sounds like absolutely they would have laid off immediately people if they could have had like the legal chances for that. So they are now in talks with unions and with the French government, pretty much. The proposal applies exclusively to Ubisoft International employees under French contracts and has no impact on other French entities or Ubisoft teams worldwide. For now. For now. When you don't make money anymore, when you don't need big staffs anymore, you're going to lay off more people. You're not going to care for like laws you just can't afford. Otherwise, you might just either close your whole company, go insolvent, just a closure, or being sold off. And Ubisoft, by the way, told us in this whole mess, don't worry, guys. Yeah, we canceled Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, but the brand, the IP is still alive. Don't worry, we're gonna come up with a game. Don't worry at all. And don't worry about Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's still in the make. This is gonna be cancelled sooner or later. I'm convinced. Beyond Good and Evil 2 remains a priority for us, Ubisoft says. Priority, my ass. So much my ass today. Ubisoft has confirmed with Kotaku that it's still working on the long-in-development sci-fi sequel Beyond Good and Evil 2. This follows previous reporting that the game survived Wednesday's massive restructuring, which saw 7 games cancelled, including Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. On January 22nd, Ubisoft told Kotaku in an email that Beyond Good and Evil 2, which was first announced back in 2008 and has popped up multiple times since then, is still in development and wasn't cancelled. The company behind Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six Siege also reconfirmed that Beyond Good and Evil franchises is still a part of the newly restructured Ubisoft. Here's the company's full statement. And I'm not going to read everything, but just as a confirmation that you can be assured this new one will come out sooner or later. As mentioned in yesterday's press release, Beyond Good and Evil will be part of Creative House 4, dedicated to immersive fantasy worlds and narrative-driven universes. Beyond Good and Evil 2 remains a priority for us in the context of our strategy centered around open-world adventures, said Ubisoft spokesperson. And you can watch like the latest trailer they produced in, what was it, 2023? No, 2022. I think it was, or even longer ago. In the last E3, I think they announced this was the trailer. And I mean, we can just keep a little tiny look into the latest, not Rumble, of the Beyond Good and Evil, and you can tell me if DI was here like involved or not. That was 2017. That was the last E3.
I don't deal with. Show me the idol. Show.
Yo, hand it over. I got a hot date who don't do late.
Monkey. He's a black monkey. He looks. I don't know. They try to be funny. I never played the original Beyond Good and Evil, but this game plays like before. And we got like our... Back then it was not really a bigger issue, but we got our black, female, probably gay main character. With this hairstyle, I don't know, man. I don't know if people are up for that, to see that these days, just saying. Especially coming from Ubisoft, I think you're just pretending that this thing is gonna be badass. And it's not gonna be badass. You're gonna probably close House 4, Creative House 4. That's what I said just a minute ago. Oi, Meg. Fatigued. And that comes from a black Mexican. Negroxican. If they would have launched the game maybe in 2018, 2019, before all the scamdemic nonsense, people just have been more fatigued, I would assume the game would have done probably okay. Would probably have made money. It might even be like funny in the story-wise, but just when you look, if you watch the trailer yourself, in today's time, you just get like some feeling, you know, about games with those characters. You know what was the mindset behind it, and you're gonna stay away from it. If you're just a regular player, no matter your skin color, but you just feel like they are trying too hard with certain things, you know. Her expression tells me everything I know about this character. I mean, that's right now. I got like a nice still frame here, which is just sad, you know. Which is just sad that the game might have been fun. The game might have been fun. Might have good like scripts, you know, storytelling, like dialogues and all that. Because parts in the trailer, especially the monkey is being just like silly and all that. It kind of works in some regard, but in today's time, just cancel the project already. I mean, I don't wish for them to fall, Ubisoft. I really don't, because I have fond memories from Ubisoft games before all the DEI craze. But yeah, it's just not good. I cannot tell how or over I am at the sissy black lady. Yes, absolutely try hard. Varying. I'm saying like Ubisoft is not gonna survive the next 2 years. That's just my feeling. Might be absolutely wrong. Might be absolutely wrong. But don't you worry. Don't you worry. Because we have a Japanese guy who tells us that DEI was not the cause behind all of those nonsense games the past 5 to 10 years in the first place. DEI only improved things at Ubisoft, says former employee, stunned at misinformation, claiming diversity, equity, and inclusion to blame for Assassin's Creed Studios' drop in share prices. Well, I got news for you. That's exactly what was the cause. But yes, Kensuke Shimoda, a former game designer at Ubisoft Osaka, tells us, without quoting anyone, I'm stunned that there are still people spreading misinformation like DEI is the reason why Ubisoft stock price fell. He begins, before saying that as former employee, I would like to make clear that so-called internal DEI advocates didn't have much influence. Well, if it was not the problem and they hadn't supposedly no influence or not so much influence, why was everything still feeling like it was absolutely just because of DEI measurements changed in games and pushed forwards and down our throats and into our eyes and all that? Huh? If they hadn't so much influence, why still was so much of that nonsense in the games? He continues, the DI only improved things, better workplace environment, expanding into South American and Middle Eastern markets, etc. And I think maybe he doesn't understand exactly what DEI really means for those companies or why it's there. I think in his mindset, DEI means for him like expanding globally, like opening up new smaller studios or headquarters in Asia, headquarters in Africa and all that. I think that's what is in his mind, like inclusion and equity and diversity. That's not what it is, DEI. DEI is forcefully putting people with not having the merit for that very work they are hired for, despite having other people who are maybe having the wrong skin color, like yellow or white or black in that sense. But that probably less the case. Being better at their job and not hiring those. That's what DEI means these days, and probably always meant, actually, right? He has probably a different thinking about DEI. The decline in marketing creativity, the causes is big business syndrome, and it can happen to any company. Yes, sure, but Ubisoft was like notorious. They were just like forcefully putting almost billion-dollar games out in the market and just pretending, yeah, it's gonna be all right. You remember Assassin's Creed George Floyd edition, right? The last one, right? They needed, for whatever reason, they thought it was such a great story, put Yasuke, the black dude, big ass dude in Assassin's Creed in Japan as the main character. And I'm gonna state as always, the gameplay might have been great. I haven't played it. The gameplay might have been absolutely okay. But that you needed to put Yasuke in that game didn't make you any money, you know? That's the problem here. Not because just it can happen to any bigger companies having this big business syndrome, just spending money for no good reason. Your reason were DEI. You needed Yasuke. Instead of, you had plenty of chances just making a Japanese Assassin's Creed with other figures in Japan. I bet they had like famous figures who were like assassins in Japan too. You know, ninja, the thing ninja, which is for Spanish also girl, right? Niña. It's almost written the same. But those were like killers, contract killers. You had plenty of chances. That was a thing in Japan. You had plenty of chances to use that environment without this actually more slave figure in Japan, to make him like this biggest hero ever, blah blah. It's just insanity that you're telling everybody I had not a big influence, and still you're not doing great. Have we got finally real numbers? How many people bought Assassin's Creed Shadows? No, I haven't seen still any numbers. The last number still remains 2 million players. That tells jack shit to anybody. My fatigue is fatigued. Isn't it racist how they make the black characters look ugly? They are pretty black women. They don't actually think so. They make ugly black women and tell us to lie and call them pretty. Yeah, I mean, you can make... what was the other game with the black girl? Which actually kind of okay game. I was just not interested because it felt boring overall. I forgot names. Me and names. All can easy. I have to do my research this way. I'm gonna search for Resident Evil, the Netflix show. Where is it? That the Netflix version? The black lady from, yeah, that's Netflix. What was her name? Ella Balinska. I think she's a pretty woman. And her game was Forspoken. Yes, that was it. You know, she's a pretty woman. She fits in that environment of the game. The game just felt to me like, even just watching it, pretty boring. But there are pretty black women out there, man. So you don't need to make them extra sassy, like Meg used the word, and ugly, like the word used by Haste. They can't do that, but yeah, we need to pretend that all black female characters, possibly lesbian, are all pretty. I think this dude is confused. DI doesn't need to be a policy. It's a mindset philosophy to most of these people. Yeah, but the problem is in the Western world, those are policies. And I think he doesn't understand that part at all. For reals, trust me, I like as Creed George Floyd edition. Well, you're Haste. I can't help you anymore. And I have to be nice to you because you have been nice to me today with 5 gifted. So we have to accept each other, Haste. You with your bad taste in systems and games, and me in my bad taste in everything. Lurking while working. Okay, Kinesi. Reiko Kobayakawa should have been the Samurai in Shadows, but that would have made too much sense and too much money. Yeah, Ubisoft doesn't need money though. They are doing so well. That's why they needed to restructure. There are no sales figures correct. Oh yeah, they uglified her in Forspoken. Yeah, but not too much. Not really so much. I actually watched a movie with her like a month ago, where she was wandering around and searching for her sister or something. And some voices called her to the mountains, and then they tried to occupy. That was the name of the movie, actually. Occupy. They this mindset tried to occupy her mind and making her into a stone. Kind of an interesting movie. And she had to act, because mostly only her was on screen. Right now, last good news for Ubisoft in that sense, or about Ubisoft. If you like the old Ubisoft before DEI craze, it's not like about supporting them, more like getting for yourself something good. Prince of Persia, the bundle here, you get like the original 3D Prince of Persia's of the generation Xbox and PS2 and upwards, like the Sands of Time, the original, Warrior Within, and the Two Thrones. Great games. The reboot one, yeah, it's there, but only for $7.19 right now. It's on sale, so it's a good price. If you didn't have it yet, if you didn't got it yet, it's a good price, and I wholeheartedly can recommend those 3. This one is a little bitchy about your system, probably. It's gonna work, but you can't like switch out of the game and into the game if you have multiple screens. Just keep that in mind. And the other 3 are great. Great simple storytelling, nice sound, gameplay was something new, and it still kind of holds up. Visually, yeah, you see the age, but good price if you want something good for yourself. Download the games. They are pretty small. You can probably burn all 3 games on one DVD, if you still have a DVD burner, or just get a cheap ass USB flash drive and put it on that to preserve it, because that's what GOG allows you to do. Very simple. Prince of Persia 2008 suck, in my opinion. Yeah, it's okay. It's boring. It's not like bad gameplay or anything like that, but it's just pretty boring made. It's nothing too amazing. But for that price, I mean, it's included, you know. $7.19 for 4 games. Good deal, man. I like the reboot with cell shading graphics more than the trilogy. Well, you are a cock. Toe. What can I say? I like Sands of Time and the Two Thrones for Warrior Within. I'd rather play the PSP version emulated. It has the acrobatics like Sands of Times. Never played the PSP version. After 5 years, GOG lead says removing cult horror game Devotion from the store is a situation that remains difficult to reflect on. Which is interesting because it's a Taiwanese company we are talking about here right now. Digital PC gaming storefront GOG has finally reflected on its decision to delist Devotion 5 years ago due to political pressure, admitting that the move might have come at cost to our credibility. And I don't remember that being a case back then, but yes, now that I hear it, why did you do that? Pressure by the CCP, that is, by the way. Maciej Golubevsky, the store's managing director, recently caught some flack for claiming the company was always ready to take a stand on the right values. In an interview with Eurogamer, after the storefront had resisted pressure and defended controversial indie horror Horse last month. Horses, sorry, not horse. You know, the riding type. You ride those, not they ride you. Not those horse. Developer Red Candle had claimed that the images were in the game that has as placeholders assets and accidentally shipped with them before the team removed them entirely. GOG then followed suit, pulling support for Devotion soon after. Looking back, Golubevsky acknowledged that the way GOG communicated its decision understandably damaged the trust our users have in us. But making decisions like banning Devotion isn't easy. Keeping a global digital storefront operating means navigating legal, operational, and commercial realities that don't always allow for ideal outcomes. The situation with the horses was also slightly different this time, according to Golubevsky, because multiple GOG employees played it pre-launch and decided it wouldn't pose any legal risk. Now, those placeholders we are talking about in Devotion, the game, were according against like showing a bad picture of Winnie the Pooh, the Chinese party leader, the chairman. Winnie the Pooh, Xi Jinping, and the placeholder didn't depict him, or supposedly depicted him in the first place, in a very bad light. Which is a sad thing, but Red Candle, they made a game I really liked. It's called 9 Souls, which includes like a lot of philosophical questions, like what comes after death, and it goes kind of deep on that question. It delivers like that question very well, and has a whole like kind of sad story in the whole game, throughout the whole game, which I just love. And it's the same company, Red Candle Games, a Taiwanese game developer, and they have another one which is called Detention. So I think they are telling us something. I think they are telling us something about the Chinese mainland, like many people call it. I think they are not very fond of the Chinese mainland. But it's sad to see that the GOG, if it was only placeholders in the game, now it's probably not there anymore. Why not call them and say to them, you want to come in our store? Do we get rid of those placeholders? Is the game now kind of clean and safe to release and does not go against the Chinese party? It's just a weird fucking story here. Weird. I just don't like it. I just don't like what is happening. Oh, cool. I didn't realize that they made 9 Souls. Yeah, I mean, if you go to Steam, like those games are kind of diverted when you search for the company name. You have one time Red Candle Games, all one word, and one time Red Candle, like 2 words, the company. And probably they tried to divert that, making kind of a new company with very similar name, right? And to release maybe the game Devotion this way. And they didn't succeed, though. That's just my assumption. It just feels like, otherwise, why would you make another account and release it on a kind of a different name, the newer games? That's just my assumption, though. Because they have Devotion soundtrack only you can still get on Steam, which is kind of weird, isn't it? If you go on their homepage, you can buy the game via, I think, just credit card directly or PayPal, I think. Not 100% sure. I got 9 Souls directly from them because you can get their DRM-free version, which means you just download it, you unpack that zip file, and you can play it right away, offline, off stream, whatever you have at home, which is great. I love that. I can give it to other people if I desire so. 9 Souls, a great game. Taiwan hates China, rightfully so. Taiwan #1. I'd visit Taiwan. I'll check out their site. Right now, they are selling the game, their games, all of their games in bundles with the soundtrack. And the soundtrack is also great in 9 Souls, just saying. But it's a Metroidvania game, so if you're not liking going back and forth and using your climbing and jumping abilities and parrying abilities, it's not a game for you. Xbox aims to be more consistent with launches first-party titles on PlayStation 5. Xbox wants to be more consistent with bringing its first-party titles to PlayStation 5. Speaking to Games Radar, head of Xbox Game Studio Craig Duncan noted that the irregularity of its release schedule. There's always development realities about when these projects start, how big a team is, and what plans we have to start of the development, Duncan said. When a strategy changes, maybe you've got a plan that exists with a game, and maybe you can adopt that, maybe you can't. Duncan went on to explain that Xbox ultimately only has a certain amount of resources to maintain a consistent multi-platform release schedule. They're pretty much just telling us here they are gonna go more releasing everything at once if possible. So that's not like the important really part why I picked this story. It just shows to me once more that they lied to you last year, throughout the whole last year, about like, yeah, don't worry, we are not out of the hardware console business. Really not. We just got a partnership again with AMD. I mean, we didn't have a contract with them. We are just giving them some money and tell them what we wish for new systems, what CPU, APU system you might make, so our games can adjust to that very system and all that. But no, they are not planning on new systems. Not at all. That is just one more like indication here that they are not producing hardware from now on. Not themselves. They're just leaving it out to the market. And I reported on their new like program with certification, like if your game supports this or that certificate or has this certification, it's going to support a certain like threshold of performance in a system, you know. So yeah, Microsoft just trying to save faces here, and they're just going to become Sega at this point. Mark my word, they're just becoming Sega. Even their Xbox app might disappear at one point, and they're just going to become like this software publishing company. That could very well be the case. It works out for Sega so far. Sega is making money with just their main games about Sonic and the Yakuza games and all that. They're making their money this way, and it's working for them so far. So it might work for Xbox, meaning Microsoft too. We're going to have to wait and see, as usual. It's just my small prediction here. That's what pisses me off about Xbox, the lies. Lies should always piss off everybody. That's the thing about lies. They are not true, and not being true is gay and lame. We have cleared the requirement. Stop Killing Games EU initiative has almost 1.3 million verified signatures, clearing it for the next phase that expected to take place next month. We talked about this last year in length, multiple times, and now we got like the numbers in because the government needs like to verify those signatures, and they got like almost 1.4 million like signatures online, and almost 1.3 millions are actually real signatures or real people behind those names. The final count is in for Stop Killing Games Europe Citizens Initiative, which is now confirmed to have accumulated almost 1.3 million verified signatures before its collection was closed at the end of July 2025, meaning it can officially move forward to the next stage in the process. According to a breakdown of the number of verified signatures per country, the initiative gained the most support in Germany, which had 233,180 supporters. There was also a strong level of support in France, Poland, and Spain, which brought in 145,289, 140,826, and 121,616 signatures, respectively. Little reminder, that means sooner or later the European Parliament has to talk about this. Very simple, meaning the consumer wants some protection. They demanded it. They did it with this initiative, and now they need to talk in the Parliament. Can we protect like games just becoming obsolete? Do we have to pressure game developers and publishers more than developers? To make the games like run after their support life cycle, in that sense, meaning making it available for players just to download it without copy protection and just play it on their system, of course without support, without any like kind of money involved to make it run on your system, for sure, like giving you a call or you call them and tell them, yeah, my Windows 11 doesn't run this game, blah, blah, blah. So that's not what it is about. And for sure not about online games only. But you have to keep the games maybe alive a little bit longer in the future. So it's a good thing for consumer, for preserving those games you maybe have liked a lot and don't want them just to disappear. Another little reminder, it was all because of The Crew, the game The Crew, which was a racing game. It had only solo campaigns, but it needed an online connection. And then they turned off the servers, and all of a sudden nobody was able to play it anymore. Because Ubisoft just said like, fuck you, we don't have money to run the servers. Well, give us then an adjusted executive little file there, which we can replace the installment and just play it locally. But no, Ubisoft, well, I think it was Ubisoft, I'm pretty sure, said no. And yes, that's what initiated everything. It's going well for the consumer so far. We got to see what the Parliament has to say from now on. That's the good news. Towards the end, we got some good news, everybody. Fan-made Banjo-Kazooie PC port out now includes high frame rate, ultra-wide monitor, and mod support. Work on Banjo recompiled a PC port of the iconic N64 platform, and Banjo-Kazooie had been advancing in the background for a while now, but no one was expecting a shadow drop. That's happened now, and we are impressed by the full list of features. Wise Guy, a modder who already worked alongside the team on Zelda 64, recompiled an adaptation of a PC for the PC of Majora's Mask, shared the trailer on the 24th of January via his own YouTube channel. And I want just to show you like visually, because those recompiled versions will run natively. It's not an emulation. It's like a reverse engineering effort. in the code and all that, and it looks amazing, you know. Of course, it's all old graphics and all that, but like super clean, widescreen, high frame rate, crystal clear sound, you know. That's how I would love every emulated version of those N64 games would run. If you're a sucker for Banjo-Kazooie, you have to get this software and your, of course, legal copy of the game. And it is almost 4-minute trailer that they show you like all the features. Put effort in it, because those talking heads here tell you about what's in the game, feature-wise. It just looks good. You know, I love it. Not high resolution, because it's the in-game resolution textures, you know. But everything 3D is high resolution. Super clean, running perfectly well. New controllers are supported. Rumble featuring. I think that's good news. Those people need to go on and move forward with newer games. Did someone say about riding horse? Yeah, but that was a while ago. I want the decompiled Diddycom racing. Maybe if you give them some money, it's gonna be towards that game. I don't know. It takes effort. Like reverse engineering software code it's not an easy task for sure. I played Majora's Mask here on this channel. The PC port. It looks amazing. It works perfectly fine. I love everything about it besides the game content itself. All those mini games going back and forth in time was just tiresome. But yes, another recompiled version that works pretty nicely. I have this on Xbox, but it could be cool for deck. Banjo-Kazooie? Yeah, but this has like all the features, all the new features. You know? Widescreen, real widescreen, not something stretched out, half emulated, getting some code out of the data. It can go up to 120 frames per second, you know. It's just nice what they do for us. Yeah, Majora's Mask is a maze of side quests. Only interested if you're interested in a lot of side stories. Not ideal for stream. Yeah, because I tried, I didn't finish it, that one, Majora's Mask. Because next Thursday, I already forgot how to do certain stuff. Because in the meantime, I played off-stream other stuff and got confused. So yeah, very much so. The rare replay is a real widescreen. Xbox has a good solid port. This is gonna be better, 100%. 100%. Mario Kart Series veteran Hideki Kano retires after almost 40 years at Nintendo. Oh, I bet El Mascarado is crying right now. Just because Nintendo, the name is in the title, and somebody's leaving there. It has recently been revealed that Nintendo veteran Hideki Kano retired from the company last summer after almost 40 years. Joining Nintendo in 1986, Kono has shaped many of the Japanese game company's major series. He worked as assistant director on Super Mario Bros. 2 and 3, as well as designed the game's levels and characters. Later, as a director, he helmed games including Yoshi's Island, the SNES version of SimCity, which is interesting because SimCity, it's very low resolution on Super Nintendo. It is very slow, but it still works, which is a great task, just saying. And Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube. However, Kano is probably the best known for his extensive work on the Mario Kart series. He directed the original Super Mario Kart and the Mario Kart 64 before going to produce Mario DS, and Mario Kart V, Mario Kart 7, and Mario Kart 8. I think the 7 was on the 3DS, wasn't it? Something like that. Mario Kart 8 plus deluxe version, and Mario Kart Tour. He got a special thanks credit on Switch 2 launch title Mario Kart World. Yeah, good riddance for many people, some people. I don't care, but 40 years is a long time to be in one company, just saying. Last week, it was revealed that another longtime Nintendo creator, Kensuke Tanabe, had recently retired, with Tanabe confirming that Metroid Prime 4 was his last game at Nintendo, as reported by Video Games Chronicles. Another one that was many, many years there, and probably he's also like, yeah, Metroid Prime 4, not doing amazingly, doing okay, but I might leave when I still have time and nobody's pissed at me yet. I'll check it out and do that. Lol same, I never finished it because I had stopped for a while due to work life, and when I had time to go back to it, I totally had forgotten what I was doing. Yeah, and it is a game that you don't really want to restart because it's an okay game. It's not an amazing game, Majora's Mask. It's all just side quest, and it's getting kind of like tedious, right? I absolutely know what you mean. Who's the woman? I don't know. German model, Eva Pudberg. Nice eyes. Nice eyes, but she is German. She's Deutsch. I shouldn't scream, it's 11 p.m. here. Anyhow, last news for today. Kind of sad news. If you're an Intel fanboy, at least. I don't care. It's not good for the consumer market in general. Intel announced more bad news for PC gaming. Bad news to anyone wanting to build or upgrade a PC in the future. Intel, one of the largest chip manufacturers in the world, is going to start prioritizing data centers more and won't produce as many processors for consumers. It's yet one more way AI hyperscalers are making it harder for PC gamers in 2026. CEO David Sinzer, I don't know, has made it clear that data centers are the company's focus in 2026. Obviously, we are shifting as much as we can over to data centers to meet the high demand, but we can't completely vacate the client market, said Cisner. So we are trying to support both as best as we can and obviously work our way out of this supply issue. Sure, and you work the supply issue or against the supply issue by doing exactly what caused the supply issue, going just to data centers. And I get it. I told that every time I talked about this AI craze and data centers, they just pay you more money right now, and you're going to take that more money. You're not going to wait as a company that has the job to make more money for the stockholders, for the shareholders. You're don't going to wait 10, 20 years just for the market rising slowly, maybe in the consumer department there. So if a data centers demands from you like 10,000 chips and it's going to pay this price right up and you're just going to deliver, you're going to go with that deal. Very simple. Money making. That's the thing what they want. So I don't blame them for that. But it looks like it's going to be a bad time for consumers, therefore, absolutely. Intel a little bit late in the game, it seems. But that is one more piece of evidence that it's not over, this AI nonsense. It's not over. Many people said recently, I read it a few times online in social media, for example. In 2026, this AI craze is going to be over. Obviously not. Intel is just jumping right now on that bandwagon of AI craze. It's not looking good. 2026 is not going to be great for PC builders. Unless you want to go with AMD, and which you should, because gaming-wise, the CPUs AMD right now better than Intel CPUs. So you shouldn't waste your time and money on thinking about Intel if you can get right now AMD chips, which are price-wise pretty good. Pretty good, just saying. Oi, brew. They can't prioritize these nuts. Okay. Intel, you please can you prioritize the brew those nuts? You would like that. I'd rather buy a used 10900K than get a new P-core E-core garbage. And the problem with those is not like the performance or anything, or like the price really. The problem is you have to go with Windows 11 to have the efficiency core scheduler and all that nonsense. I've read that there are ways to make Windows 10 also addressing like the cores according to your task to use less power and all that. But me as a normal consumer, I don't want to fucking mess around with my core system. So what's the point here? Fucking crazies. But yes, AMD is now the way to go. I have now an AMD. I'm pretty happy. No flawless working so far. I'm happy, like a baby. You'll get your data centers and you'll be happy. Okay. Intel's quality has gone down. I don't know about the quality. I just remember they had plenty of issues with their chips yielding. That's why their prices are higher than AMD's overall. You'll get your data center, you'll be happy, and you will go through the roof. Yeah, your power bill. It's not like you're gonna use like 10 times more electricity, but AMD is just overall more efficient and better performance right now with more or less the last 2 generations, actually. Woo, not fun changing a tire on a suburban in 20 Fahrenheit weather. At least Ike's sexy voice is warming my loins. Warming your loins. Sorry to tell you, but that sounded very gay, Kenesi. That sounded very gay. I mean, we have plenty of gays around on Rumble for sure. But still, is that a compliment? Do I need to be flattered, or do I need to be scared? I don't know. Have 2 AMD Windows 10 machines. They are good. Yeah, besides that, that was a long-ass news. I mean, I had plenty of news. I could have selected even more news, but I refuse to talk about gay-ass Arc Raiders. I refuse to talk about gay-ass Hightail. I refuse to talk about Minecraft. I refuse to talk about Fortnite. I refuse to talk about Call of Duty. I refuse to talk about modern Dragon Ball, which we got plenty of news today and yesterday. Supposedly, for just as a side note, supposedly Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball and the art style of Dragon Ball, had this one game in mind. And now that he's dead, all of a sudden the game is completed and that was his vision, blah, blah, blah. You're just squeezing that poor dead guy, man. Fucking Bandai and Toei and whoever is involved. Fuck all of you. All douchebags. But I guess he signed off the rights to do with his creation whatever they please for a certain amount of money. I'm not blaming him for that if that was the case. But with Dragon Ball Super, I was done. Fuck Toei and that newer modern bull crap. Hello, Bruce, says Sarge. Yeah, his loin, not his groin. I pulled my loin the other day. My loin, not my groin. That's amazing. Another post-mortem Akira Toriyama game release. That was his vision. This was his vision. Yeah. Don't you love... I don't know if we are going to be able to view like the rest of humanity after we are dead. I think that's not going to be the case. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody really knows. Some people believe that what certain stuff is going to happen. But I just wonder if we can watch like the rest of the world whenever we please and see what they are doing with our legacy. No matter how good or bad our legacy was, just if they're going to keep lying about what our real vision was. Hard to say. Anyhow, he said that he was never going to do it, but he did it. The brew that do is now a monthly supporter, according to Rumble. He's probably going to pay 1 month and then get off the subscription. Speaking of subscriptions, gifted subscription is going to be a big thing next Thursday, Friday. I want to remind everybody it's going to be a 24-hour stream. We're going to combine it with all kinds of stuff. Firstly, I'm going to play through Far Cry 5 because story-wise, I think it's very interesting. It is about some religious nuts, but it seems like they are going to be spot on with today's time about the government, and you fight the government and make your own state and your own laws, and only God is the leading figure and all that. I just find the story most interesting. Bathtub Ike stream, no. Why do you want to see me in a bathtub? Doesn't tell everybody more about you than about me, though? Maybe he clicked the wrong button. Maybe he clicked the wrong button. Maybe he just wanted to gift it. Because he always told, like, I'm never going to subscribe to you. I am much appreciated. $5 is $5. I take that. My supporter check came through from Ike. Got to pump those numbers. Your supporter check? I'm not sure. Back to the 24-hour stream. Gonna play Far Cry 5 through, just to fill out the 24 hours in general. I'm gonna finish Final Fantasy VII, the original from 1997. Not a lot is left. I grinded like insane the past few days. Now made it to 35 plus levels since last Thursday. I showed it on stream. Pumped up all kinds of materia, if that tells you anything about the game, you know. I'm very powerful. I'm going to attempt the weapons. Those are more powerful probably still. But I'm going to just finish the game in general after a few tries on the weapons. Then we're going to race just to embarrass, hopefully, a little bit Ouch My Junk. We don't need a lot of money, but hopefully we can get enough people. Not the regulars. Haste already spending like a lot of money on this channel, just mentioning that. But we're going to raise a little bit money, hopefully by other people's, for Ouch My Junk and give him a somewhat decent controller with rumble function. That is going to be one part. It's not going to take a lot, just saying. And the other thing is going to be just making me money in general. I'm going to do like shots for $5, maybe 10, just to get not too shit-faced in an instant. And we're going to celebrate as good as possible MrsSarge's birthday on the 30th. That's what's going to be connected. 29th and 30th of this month. It's going to be Thursday, Friday. So just come in, say hi, and say, by the way, I kind of hate it when people just come in and never say bye or don't make any, like, emoji, anything. Just say bye. It's not going to cost you a lot. Unless you're pissed at me, then okay. Then I know, I guess. Anyhow. Check out next Thursday, Friday. You have plenty of hours to just say hi. Multiple times, actually. And yeah, hopefully we're going to have a nice time together. Because it's also going to be an anniversary. I started on the 29th of January a few years ago. Other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, whatever day that might be and what time. Morning, evening, afternoon, midnight. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye. Boom, cha. Unfortunately, the little plugin doesn't log the gifted. 5 gifted by Haste. He has to be mentioned. Very generous. And Brew subscribed. How much is gonna? How many months he's gonna be subscribed? Who knows? We're gonna see. Maybe, I don't know. Thank you very much, guys.